It was a world where the game and the real world merged. There are various professions, countless ruins, and secret realms. A teacher was hyping up his students and exclaimed that they should go because the job transition ceremony is about to begin, and the students were also excited. While all of the students were excited to get out of the room, one guy at the back looked anxious as he sat on his desk. The guy was Lu Fan, and the teacher came to him, and as he asked what was wrong with him, he assured that he was the top student in the class, so there was no need to feel too much pressure. But Lu Fan seemed like he was out of it and that he was seeing something else. A system screen appeared in front of Lu Fan and congratulated him as the super treasure map system had been successfully activated, which left him speechless. The teacher looked angry as he continued to call Lu Fan and ask him if he was even listening to him, and Lu Fan was surprised when he realized what was going on. While apologizing to the teacher, Lu Fan quickly ran away and shouted that he would be going immediately. Lu Fan was relieved, as he muttered that he couldn't travel to a world like that without a system. He was making his way down the stairs when he began to wonder what the use of that system was. As he landed at the bottom of the stairs, Lu Fan decided that he would just think about it later. Lu Fan ran, and he determined that at that moment, the job transition ceremony was more important. A few moments later, the students gathered outside the school building. They gathered in front of a stage, and one of them asked if it was the job transition crystal, and exclaimed that it was the first time they had seen one, while another student remarked that they were so nervous, and the man up on stage commanded that everyone should be quiet. While Lu Fan made his way through the crowd, he passed one of the students who hoped that it would be great if he could become a hidden combat professional, powerful and admired by thousands. But the student he was with scoffed that he was talking nonsense in broad daylight because there are hardly any hidden combat professionals in the whole school. He retorted that if he ended up with a life profession, he would be praying to his ancestors. The old man up on stage announced that the job transition ceremony is about to begin and that the one with him on stage is the priest who will host that year's job transition ceremony. The students were intrigued when they heard that the priest was the professional in charge of the transfer, and while Lu Fan observed that the aura of a combat professional was indeed different, the other students marveled that the priest has such a strong aura and wished that they could awaken such an aura. Suddenly, the system notified Lu Fan that he had acquired a new skill, Eye of Appraisal, and Lu Fan was surprised when he saw it. Lu Fan looked nervous as he clicked on the icon of the priest that appeared in front of him. The system showed Lu Fan details regarding the priest, and Lu Fan confirmed that he could see the information about the priest. A guy was standing out as the other students admired that he must be able to because his attributes are so high. They observed that although job transitions are mostly random, the higher the attributes, the more likely he is to become a combat professional. They cheered for him and commented that he was so handsome. The priest started the ceremony and used his skills on the guy. The guy stood confidently with a smile on his face as the job transition crystal in front of him lit up. The job transition crystal suddenly started producing a huge ball of fire. When the other students saw it, they exclaimed that he was a mage with fireballs and that the guy, whose name was Jang Tao, was awesome because he really became a combat professional, so they envied him so much. Jang Tao showed off by summoning a fireball in his hand, and the other students exclaimed that he had a bright future ahead of him and that he was so amazing that they would cling to his leg. Meanwhile, Lu Fan looked astonished as he remarked that once one becomes a combatant, they can say goodbye to their ordinary lives. The old man up on stage was pissed, and as he commanded that the students should be quiet, he called on the next one. A few moments later, the other students also made their job transitions. One became a herbalist and announced that he would be inheriting the family business. A muscular guy became a tailor but complained that he didn't like it all, and a skinny guy became a miner, and he trembled as he confessed that he didn't want that. Lu Fan observed that it seems that combat professions are ultimately the minority, and the majority still ended up with life professions. Seeing the ecstatic people who awakened combat professions, Lu Fan noted that awakening as a combat professional meant an infinite future. On the other hand, the people who awakened life professions all looked disheartened, and Lu Fan opined that for most people awakening as life professionals, it was destined to be accompanied by a mediocre life. Lu Fan was startled when the guy in front of him commented that it was still considered good. The guy mentioned that Lai Ping from Class 3, whose family is already tight on money, transitioned into the most expensive enhancement profession, and it was not even as good as a life profession where at least you have a skill. Lu Fan looked nervous as he glanced over at Lai Ping, and he speculated that his family was also tight on money, so he wondered what would happen if he became an enhancement professional. Suddenly, Lu Fan was startled when he got called, and he responded that he was there. As he walked up the stage, a female student noted that he was quite handsome, so she wondered what profession he would have. Lu Fan stood in front of the job transition crystal, and he mused that, at that point, being nervous was useless. The priest began the ceremony and used his skills on Lu Fan. Lu Fan looked at the job transition crystal expectantly as it began to glow. Suddenly, a dragon's eye appeared while the ground shook, and the students asked what was happening and if it was an earthquake. A bright light suddenly shone down on Lu Fan from the sky. The other students looked up at Lu Fan with awe as a dragon appeared behind him. One of the students exclaimed that Lu Fan's job transition actually summoned a giant dragon. Another remarked that it was amazing as it is an extraordinary phenomenon that only occurs when a hidden profession appears, and when another student heard about the hidden profession, they inquired if it was real. Meanwhile, a female teacher called Mr. Lai, Lu Fan's teacher, and informed him that his class has produced the school's first hidden profession, which is unbelievable. Mr. Lai speculated that if Lu Fan transitions into the strongest hidden profession, like Dragon Blood Warrior or Dragon Language Mage, he could become the new powerhouse of the Dragon Kingdom and make history. The giant dragon roared mightily as it hovered above Lu Fan, and Mr. Lai commented that it has been 10 years since someone transitioned into a Dragon Blood Warrior, and the female teacher added that that person has already become the top expert in the Dragon Kingdom. Mr. Lai and everyone else looked at Lu Fan expectantly as he transitioned. On the other hand, the giant dragon roared loudly and was diving toward Lu Fan. A huge explosion suddenly occurred, which startled the other students and made them scream. Up on stage, Lu Fan was flinching and trying to protect himself from the explosion while the old man and the priest began approaching him. The old man quickly grabbed Lu Fan, and he asked him what his profession was, if he was a Dragon Blood Warrior or a Dragon Language Mage. But Lu Fan looked disappointed, and he bit his lip as he revealed that he was a Dragon Tamer. The old man, Mr. Lai, and the others were taken aback when they heard what Lu Fan disclosed. The old man could not believe it, and he remarked that it had such a grand scene. He couldn't contain his disappointment, and he demanded to know why it was the most useless and worthless profession, Dragon Tamer. After the job transition ceremony, Lu Fan was walking in the old town district of Zhonghai City while looking at his system screen. He was looking at the system screen intently and was not mentioning anything. Lu Fan was looking at his information on the system screen. He recalled what happened at the job transition ceremony, and as one of the students remarked that he was destined to be mediocre because humans could not possibly tame such powerful creatures as dragons. Another student agreed and noted that even though it is a hidden class, it is actually the weakest in terms of practical strength. When one of the students heard that it was the weakest, he asked the guy beside him to confirm if the Dragon Tamer wasn't considered one of the 3 major hidden occupations along with Dragon Blood Warrior and Dragon Language Mage, and the guy responded that it is, but they can't even find dragons, let alone tame them, so it is better to become a summoner. As the old man recovered from shock, he comforted Lu Fan and mentioned that it was okay because at least it was a hidden occupation with unlimited potential because maybe he could tame some lesser dragons and become powerful. When Lu Fan heard that, he asked how it was possible, and he asserted that he knew that a dragon tamer without a dragon can't possibly have unlimited potential, and lesser dragons are just ferocious beasts that cannot be compared to real dragons. Lu Fan remarked that in 800 years of dragon country history, dragons have appeared, but a dragon tamer who has tamed dragons has never existed. He noted that even the most powerful humans are like ants in front of giant dragons, so trying to tame a giant dragon is nothing more than a fool's dream. As he tried to swipe on the information on his system screen that was still hidden, Lu Fan remarked that, not to mention a dragon tamer without a dragon, they not only lack the ability to improve but they can't even unlock skills. Lu Fan looked so dejected as he observed that his auntie worked hard to put him through school, but he couldn't provide her with a better life. He was filled with sadness as he looked up. Lu Fan arrived at the bun shop, and he remarked that, unconsciously, he was already home. He let out a deep breath to prepare himself. With a huge smile on his face, Lu Fan came in, called his auntie, and announced that he was back. Han Ki, Lu Fan's auntie, is a chef. She has prepared a lot of meals, and she was glad when she saw Lu Fan come home. Lu Fan was flustered when Han Ki hugged him and exclaimed that he was back. She looked so excited as she dragged Lu Fan towards the table, and she remarked that it was his big day of job transition. As she sat at the table, Han Ki asked Lu Fan how it was and what profession he had become. Lu Fan immediately looked dejected when he tried to answer Han Ki's question, and Han Ki noticed that. Han Ki immediately mentioned that it was okay if Lu Fan didn't become a combat professional because she would worry if he were out fighting every day, but she was cut off. Lu Fan cut her off and responded, no. He hesitated as he stated that he had become a dragon tamer. Lu Fan looked away and noted that it is a profession where he can't do anything without a dragon. But instead of being surprised, Han Ki just smiled brightly. Lu Fan was surprised when Han Ki hugged him from behind and remarked that being a dragon tamer is fine too because it means that he is really strong. Han Ki asserted that if Lu Fan can get into college in the future, she will continue to support him, and if he doesn't want to, he can also run the bun shop with her. Lu Fan smiled as he was moved by what Han Ki remarked. Han Ki cheerfully observed that Lu Fan shouldn't think about it and they should just eat, and when Lu Fan noticed the food, he got troubled and mentioned that there was too much, so he couldn't finish all of that. A few moments later, Lu Fan slumped face first on his bed. Recalling Han Ki's hands, Lu Fan mentioned that she is only 26 years old, and after so many years of effort in her life occupation, she still can't change her ordinary life. So he wanted to live a better life with her, but he wondered if it meant that it was already out of reach just because he became a Dragon Tamer. Lu Fan slammed his fist on his bed as he exclaimed that he was not reconciled because, clearly, as long as he has a dragon, being a Dragon Tamer is a true hidden profession. As he wondered where he could find a dragon, he was puzzled when he noticed something. The system congratulated him on the first day and notified him that the treasure map had been sent. Lu Fan could not believe that he was given a god-tier treasure map just on the first day, but he remembered that it was called the Super Treasure Map system when it was first activated. As he opened the chest given to him, Lu Fan remarked that he had only tried its identification function and hadn't yet explored its core treasure map feature that day. The system notified Lu Fan that treasure map levels include beginner, intermediate, advanced, and god tier, which makes 4 in total. It explained that 3 identical low-level treasure maps could be combined into one high-level treasure map through the system. The system informed Lu Fan that he will receive 1 treasure map every day, and as long as he goes there, he can find treasures related to his corresponding profession at a randomly assigned level and location. Clicking on the chest, Lu Fan noted that if he gave up at that moment, he would spend his whole life at the bottom of society, not to mention how to repay Han Ki, so he had to go. The map showed the mountain and stone plain, which has an area level of 10, and when Lu Fan saw it, he observed that it was not too far from Zhonghai City. Lu Fan stated that as long as he caught the last suburban bus at night, he could get there by dawn. Dawn already came, and at the bun shop, Han Ki just woke up. Suddenly, she noticed a letter on the table. When she looked over Lu Fan's bedroom, she saw that he was not there, so she called for him. Meanwhile, a bus was traveling away from Zhonghai City and towards the mountains. Lu Fan was riding on that bus. He recalled that he wrote to Han Ki and informed her that he was going to Mountain Stone Plan, requesting that she don't worry about him. He added that it might be the chance to change the fate of the Dragon Tamer and that he would be fine. As Lu Fan got off the bus, he recalled that he asked Han Ki to wait for him to come back. Other people were following behind Lu Fan as he got off the bus. Lu Fan looked so determined as he remembered that he promised that he would make sure that they had a good life. Suddenly, Lu Fan became anxious when he realized that those people following him were trying to steal materials, but he remained silent as he muttered that committing murder and robbery was just a piece of cake for them. The 3 of them looked at Lu Fan menacingly, and one of them was laughing as he asked Lu Fan if he had made up his mind. Lu Fan was alarmed, and he quickly grabbed the dagger on his waist as he shouted that they had spotted him. The woman gave Lu Fan a flying kiss and bid goodbye as she and her companion walked away from him. Lu Fan cursed that they were despicable bastards. He muttered that even if it was dangerous in the wilderness, it was still much safer than being stabbed in the back by robbers, and he sighed and lamented that it was just as he thought. A life without strength is but a fleeting shadow, easily overtaken by the winds of fate. Looking at the system map, Lu Fan stated that he needed to set off quickly. A few moments later, there was something rustling behind the bushes. It was Lu Fan, and he peeked through the bush he was hiding in. He was observing a herd of level 8 power horn horses that were peacefully eating in front of him. Lu Fan noted that although those power horn horses don't actively attack humans, if they are disturbed, he will be no match for them as he is currently level 10. But has no skills. He looked away and decided that he should just forget it and just take a detour. Lu Fan started walking away. A few moments later, he looked so anxious as he walked through the grassy plains surrounded by horned creatures, and he remarked that although he had taken a longer route for safety reasons, it didn't feel safe at all. Lu Fan was surrounded by level 7 giant horn antelopes, and he mentioned that he should be getting close just a little longer. But suddenly, Lu Fan stepped on the frog that was on his way, and the frog croaked loudly due to pain. Lu Fan froze as all the giant horn antelopes around him immediately looked at him with gleaming eyes. One of the giant horn antelopes bellowed. Lu Fan quickly ran as the giant horn antelopes chased after him, and he cursed as he grumbled that he eventually succeeded in disturbing them. He decided to jump to his side and get out of the way. Lu Fan crashed on the ground, and he looked behind him nervously. He was surprised when he saw the ground destroyed and the frog's legs protruding out of it. Lu Fan commented that he couldn't even handle a timid giant horn antelope in his current state, so if he misses that opportunity, his fate will be like that frog. Suddenly, Lu Fan was surprised when the system notified him that he had arrived at the designated treasure map location. Lu Fan was ecstatic as he exclaimed that it was really the place. He rejoiced as he looked at the glowing rock in front of him, and he confirmed that it was indeed the location indicated by the treasure map clue. A few moments later, Lu Fan approached the rock, and after he looked around skeptically, He looked pleased to have found something. Lu Fan saw an egg, and he declared that it was the treasure that could change the fate of a dragon tamer, a dragon egg. It was a black dragon egg with an unknown level, and as it made a cracking sound, Lu Fan noted that it was hatching, so the dragon was about to be born. Suddenly, Lu Fan noticed some rustling behind him. He immediately pulled out his ordinary grade novice cleaver, and he remarked that so far, everything has gone smoothly along the way. Lu Fan swung his novice cleaver, and he observed that it seemed that he couldn't escape the nose of a wild beast. Seeing the howling monster that blocked his weapon, Lu Fan immediately recognized that it was a bloodthirsty gray fox. The bloodthirsty gray fox lunged forward while biting Lu Fan's weapon, and Lu Fan was struggling to push it away. Letting out a battle scream, Lu Fan managed to swing his weapon. He successfully pushed the bloodthirsty gray fox away, and it crashed on the ground. Lu Fan was catching his breath while he looked at the bloodthirsty gray fox's information on the system screen. He saw that it has the skills Triple Claw Strike, which is a swift triple hit combo, and Bloodthirst Recovery, which recovers health based on the target's blood loss, and Lu Fan immediately realized that it could use a triple hit combo to make the target bleed and recover its health through Bloodthirst Recovery. Glancing at the cracking dragon egg behind him, Lu Fan cursed in his mind, and he muttered that he didn't have any skills to deal with the bloodthirsty gray fox. Lu Fan suggested that maybe he could stall until the dragon hatches and use dragon taming, but he was unaware that the bloodthirsty gray fox was already charging towards him. When he noticed it, Lu Fan used his arm to block its attack, and he exclaimed that it was too fast, so he couldn't stall until then. Lu Fan groaned in pain as the bloodthirsty gray fox clawed his arm. He mentioned that he couldn't let the bloodthirsty gray fox use Bloodthirst Recovery, so he has to deal with it when it prepares for the Triple Claw Strike. As Lu Fan blocked the bloodthirsty gray fox's first attack, he started the countdown. The bloodthirsty gray fox attacked Lu Fan ferociously, but Lu Fan still managed to block its second attack. Lu Fan barely managed to dodge the bloodthirsty gray fox's final attack. He declared that it was the time and prepared to attack. Lu Fan hit the bloodthirsty gray fox with all his might using his weapon, and blood spurted out of it as he thrust it into the ground. As Lu Fan pulled his weapon, the system notified him that he had defeated a bloodthirsty gray fox and had been rewarded with 120 XP. Lu Fan let out a sigh of relief, and he remarked that he got rid of it. But Lu Fan's eyes widened in surprise when someone suddenly laughed and commented that he really took the bloodthirsty gray fox down. It was the group of robbers from earlier, and the old man noted that it was impressive of him. Lu Fan asked them if they had been following him and reminded that he had already mentioned that he wouldn't join them. The woman reassured him that there was no need to be nervous, and she inquired to confirm if he had deceived them, and the old man agreed and noted that Lu Fan clearly mentioned that he was a summoner. Lu Fan gritted his teeth, and he was speechless when the old man asked him why he didn't use any skills when he got injured like that. He kicked the bloodthirsty gray fox's carcass towards the robbers and stated that if they wanted the fox fur, they could take it, so they should stop bothering him. As the bloodthirsty gray fox landed in front of him, the old man got puzzled. He laughed sinisterly and observed that Lu Fan is pretty interesting. Grabbing the bloodthirsty gray fox by its tail, the old man remarked that that piece of fox fur is only worth 80 dragon coins, and he asked Lu Fan how long they must persuade him to get their share. The old man looked sinister as he observed that it was not what they wanted. Lu Fan was agitated when he realized where the old man was looking. He cursed that they were bastards and that they saw him looking for the dragon egg. The old man suddenly commanded to attack, and Lu Fan was caught off guard as both the muscular guy and the woman went to charge at him. The woman pointed her blade at Lu Fan, and while calling him handsome, she lamented that it was such a pity, but they had to bid farewell while the muscular guy grabbed the egg, and the old man was so amazed and admired that it was a beautiful egg. Lu Fan exclaimed that it was his only chance to turn the tables. He swore that he couldn't let the robbers take away the dragon egg when suddenly, the egg cracked entirely. As the egg shattered in the man's hand, something came out of it, and it was moving extremely fast. The robbers were taken aback, and as they looked up, they saw a silhouette and wondered what kind of monster it was. On the other hand, Lu Fan's eyes went wide, and he immediately recognized what it was. The black dragon quickly dove and charged towards the robbers. The old man threw a potion bottle at it and demanded that it should get away. The bottle was heading straight towards the black dragon, and it was alarmed. But it swiftly moved to the side and evaded the bottle gracefully. While the black dragon was moving sideways, the man prepared to attack it. But the black dragon roared ferociously. It released a strong aura that shredded the man into pieces. The old man was both confused and horrified when he saw the man's head fall to the ground while the rest of his body was still falling. When the old man saw that the black dragon was glaring at him, he exclaimed no and that it should stop. The old man quickly turned to the woman and urged that she should hurry and help him. Meanwhile, Lu Fan looked so surprised, and he exclaimed that he never imagined that even a newly hatched dragon could be so powerful, so it was no wonder that no one could tame the dragons. When the woman heard what Lu Fan exclaimed, she asked him what he just exclaimed and confirmed if it was actually a dragon egg, but she was cut off when someone screamed. The woman looked horrified when she saw blood splatters flying towards her. The black dragon was pulling out the eggshells stuck in its teeth, and while the old man was lying in the pool of his own blood in front of it, the black dragon perked up and stared at the woman. The woman trembled, and she looked horrified. Lu Fan quickly pushed her away, and as she groaned and fell to the ground, he declared that the dungeon robber's sense of smell was too dull. He stated that for attempting to steal the dragon that was rightfully his, it was the destiny they had chosen. The black dragon was alarmed when it saw Lu Fan running towards him. Lu Fan extended his hand and used his dragon taming technique. The black dragon was puzzled, and it was also blinded by the light that Lu Fan emitted. As the woman watched Lu Fan perform his dragon taming technique from behind, she asked him who he was. Lu Fan smirked as he asked the woman to confirm if she wanted to know who he was. He proclaimed that he was not just a summoner, he was a dragon tamer, and the black dragon let out a confused sound. The system notified Lu Fan that the Black Dragon Covenant had been established, and that the skills the Black Dragon had unlocked were Dragon Claw, Dragon Fang Strike, and Dragon's Inspiration. The woman looked so scared, and she was stuttering as she begged that Lu Fan should spare her, as she didn't know that it was a dragon egg. But Lu Fan called them despicable robbers and interrogated her about how many people they had schemed against. And as the woman tried to argue that she didn't, Lu Fan glowered at her and commanded that she should go join her comrades. The black dragon quickly charged towards the woman, and the woman tried to run away while she screamed not to do it. But blood splattered all over the place as her scream filled the area. A few moments later, the sun was coming up, and Lu Fan was sitting on the ground with the black dragon. Lu Fan let out a sigh and muttered that it was finally over while he was patching his wounds when he noticed the black dragon rummaging inside his bag. He picked the black dragon up, and he muttered that he couldn't believe it. The black dragon growled as Lu Fan raised him up in the air, which made Lu Fan laugh, and he muttered that he was way too lively. Imagining himself riding the grown-up dragon, Lu Fan remarked that he had truly crossed the gap between the weakest and the strongest. Lu Fan looked so excited as he observed that it was so powerful right after hatching that he couldn't even imagine how strong it would be after leveling up. He hugged the black dragon and stated that soon, the title of Dragon Tamer will no longer be called the weakest class. Lu Fan wondered what he should call the black dragon, and while he was deciding if it would be Little Coal Ball or Black Diamond, the black dragon was looking at his dressed wound intensely. As Lu Fan was about to decide what name he would go with, the black dragon started licking his wound, which startled him, and he questioned it to wait and see what it was doing. Suddenly, a red aura began to shroud the black dragon. The aura got so intense that Lu Fan got pushed away, and he screamed in pain. A humanoid face with horns suddenly emerged from the red aura that engulfed the black dragon. As the red aura started to dissipate, it revealed a red-haired lady with horns, a voluptuous chest, and behind. Lu Fan looked so surprised when he witnessed that the black dragon had transformed into a beautiful lady, and he couldn't help but ask what on earth was going on. Lu Fan asked the black dragon to confirm if she could also transform into human form. The black dragon nodded as a response, and Lu Fan checked his attributes on the system screen. While the black dragon looked around curiously, Lu Fan focused intently on his attributes, and he remarked that, as expected, taming the dragon race unlocked all skills. Lu Fan explained that Dragon's Inspiration could strengthen both himself and the dragon pet, and the 30% increase in all attributes and attack power already far surpassed the effects of a priest's buff. While Dragon Fang Strike was already a high damage attack, and Dragon Claw could transform his own arm to deliver the damage of the dragon pet. Clicking on the black dragon's profile, Lu Fan commented that even without considering the black dragon hatching, just with attributes 5 or 6 times higher than an ordinary person, even if he only used his own abilities, he could still crush combat professions of the same level. When the system displayed the black dragon's skills and attributes, Lu Fan was astonished to see that her attribute points were all 3-digit numbers. Lu Fan noted that even as a level 1 dragon hatchling, with skills like those and nearly 400 points in each attribute, humans simply cannot compare because even a human expert 20 levels higher would have no chance against her. And with her blood connection that directly doubled all his attributes, it was no wonder that he felt noticeably stronger after successfully taming her. He thought about the 3 strongest hidden job classes and observed that no matter how strong a hidden job class is, it has no chance against dragons. Lu Fan looked proud as he declared that, without a doubt, Dragon Tamer is the strongest hidden job class. On the other hand, the black dragon gleefully chewed on the eggshell she came from, and Lu Fan mentioned that even though she could transform into human form, she still retained her dragon nature, but he asked what he should name her. Lu Fan suggested that since she was a little black dragon born in the night before dawn, he could call her Xiaoi, which made her howl excitedly, and Lu Fan acknowledged that it looked like she liked the name. He commented that the treasure hunt might be dangerous, but it was all worth it, and as he asked Xiaoi if she was hungry, she howled in response. Lu Fan concluded that it was time to hunt some monsters to fill Xiaoi's belly, and he confirmed that it was the right decision because they couldn't just go back like that at the moment. He mentioned that the trial to determine whether he could enter the university was approaching, and many of his classmates would focus on leveling up outside. Lu Fan remarked that the coveted South Province scholar reward and qualification for the Dragon Kingdom's top university were within reach, but even so, he couldn't afford to be careless, so leveling up and mastering skills were top priorities, and as he led the way, he suggested that they should go to the depths of the mountain. Xiaoi excitedly followed and flew behind him. He noted that there were monsters there that were tastier than eggshells, which made Xiaoi howl in excitement. Suddenly, they heard a roar and the 2 of them were startled, and they immediately looked in the direction where the sound was coming from. A group of monsters ran towards them, and as Lu Fan inquired what those were, he opened up the system's screen. Lu Fan saw that they were plain hyenas, which were more dangerous and difficult to deal with than bloodthirsty gray foxes. However, that was for the oldham because even though he defeated a level 10 bloodthirsty gray fox before, he also sustained a lot of injuries. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blew past Lu Fan. The strong gust of wind was created by Xiaoi as she flew up into the sky. Lu Fan instructed that if Xiaoi wanted to go, they should go. As the 2 of them charged forward, Lu Fan confirmed that currently, for the strongest Dragon Tamer and his dragon, the rocky plains posed no danger at all. Xiaoi quickly flew above the plain hyenas. She took a deep breath and brewed flames in her stomach to prepare to launch an attack. Xiaoi used her skill, Lava Flame, which enabled her to continuously spew flames forward, causing damage while healing herself. And as she eliminated a number of plain hyenas, the system notified Lu Fan that he and Xiaoi earned 380 experience points for each of them. As Xiaoi continued to eliminate more plain hyenas with her lava flame, she and Lu Fan kept gaining experience points, and as Lu Fan leveled up to level 2 and Xiaoi leveled up to level 3, Lu Fan commented that it was not bad. But if they wanted to level up faster, they needed to hunt some elite monsters. Lu Fan called Xiaoi and urged her to forget about those minions. He saw gleaming eyes in the darkness ahead, and he noted that there was a big guy waiting for them. Huge claws emerged from the darkness, and the monster growled as it came out. It was the level 25 Three-Skull Blood Lions, and Lu Fan identified it as a level 25 elite leader. Lu Fan mentioned that normally it would take a monster hunter team to dare to approach it, but he called Xiaoi and urged that they should go, to which Xiaoi howled in agreement. As Xiaoi charged forward, the Three-Skull Blood Lions used its skill, Roar, which simultaneously emitted a massive gust of wind and increased its own defense and attack for a period of time. The Three-Skull Blood Lions began charging their skill, Triple Flame, which gathered burning breath into fireballs, inflicting 3 rounds of fire area damage and had a skill charging period. Lu Fan quickly moved. He instructed Xiaoi to coordinate with him to interrupt the Three-Skull Blood Lion's skills, to which Xiaoi agreed. Xiaoi released her fiery aura and swirled it around her body. Meanwhile, Lu Fan crouched on the ground and prepared to attack. Lu Fan jumped into the sky while Xiaoi turned into a huge whirlwind of fire behind him. As the whirlwind of fire started to take shape, Lu Fan commented that he would try something first. Xiaoi used her skill, Dragon True Shape, and she roared fiercely as she emerged from her flames. She used her skill, Mighty Jaw Strike, which was a swift charge followed by a tearing bite, and inflicted continuous bleeding damage on the target, and it interrupted the Three-Skull Blood Lion's skill, Triple Flame. Lu Fan praised Xiaoi and acknowledged that it was well done. He attacked the Three-Skull Blood Lions and used his skill, Dragon Fang Strike, which mobilized dragon energy and delivered a powerful blow with his current weapon. The Three-Skull Blood Lions helplessly crashed into the ground while Lu Fan jumped away. Seeing the Three-Skull Blood Lions lying unconscious on the ground, filled with injuries, Lu Fan landed on the ground and declared that it was over while Xiaoi came down with him. Lu Fan and Xiaoi both earned 23,790 experience points, and Lu Fan leveled up to level 4, while Xiaoi leveled up to level 9, and Lu Fan remarked that elite monsters really leveled up fast because just defeating one boosted them several levels. Suddenly, the treasure map system notified Lu Fan that it was triggered and that the treasure map for that day had been sent. Lu Fan noted that it was another treasure map and wondered what exclusive item for Dragon Tamers that one would lead to. He called Xiaowei and urged that they should go treasure hunting, and in response, Xiaowei howled with excitement. On the other hand, deep in the rocky plains, 3 people stood between the huge rocks. A young lady called her Uncle Ji, and as she observed that it was such a rare opportunity, she asked him if they should really let it slip away like that. But Sun Ji replied that there was nothing they could do about it. Sun Ji, a warrior, explained that the Chant's secret realm required at least 5 people to activate, and they didn't have enough people to open it. But he suggested letting Kair return to Zhonghai City and bring more people back. But Kair, a rogue, cut Sun Ji off and refused because even with her agility, a round trip would take a whole day. The young lady, Qinqi, an unknown combat class, sighed as she remarked that the Chant's secret realm that randomly appears has rewards higher than ordinary dungeons, but it only exists for 24 hours, so they definitely wouldn't make it in time. Sun Ji replied that Qinqi didn't need to worry so much because, with her strength, as long as she entered one of the top 10 academies, they would definitely provide her with opportunity, and Qinqi responded that she knew everything he mentioned. But it was such a pity. Suddenly, Sun Ji noticed something, and both he and Kair quickly moved to protect Qinqi and asked who it was that they sensed. Lu Fan casually emerged behind the rock and he explained that there was no need to be nervous because he was just passing by. Sun Ji remarked that looking at Sun Ji's dirty look, it wasn't where a material hunter should be. But suddenly, Qinqi gestured for him to stand down. Qinqi greeted Lu Fan and introduced herself, then explained that they were from the Qin family in Zhonghai City, and while she gave Lu Fan her name, she added that though it was a bit abrupt, she would like to ask him if he could temporarily team up with them. But he didn't need to do anything but just enter the Fortune's secret realm with them, and after they succeeded, they would pay him a reward of 100,000 dragon coins. Lu Fan stopped in his tracks when he heard about the Fortune's secret realm. He inquired if they could confirm the 100,000 dragon coins, but in his mind, he thought that it was the Fortune's secret realm that even the richest family in Zhonghai City, the Qin family, wanted to go to, so the final rewards must be very rare. Qinqi confirmed and clarified that it was right and that they just needed to gather enough people to meet the requirements of the realm. So Lu Fan didn't need to do anything to get 100,000 dragon coins. As the portal opened, Sun Ji commented that that kind of opportunity didn't come by easily, so they should go and hurry up. Lu Fan stated that he was not very interested in money, but they could cooperate according to the rules. Everyone was surprised when they heard what Lu Fan proposed. Kair asked Lu Fan to confirm if he meant that he wanted to allocate the rewards in the secret realm based on performance, and Lu Fan confirmed that that was right. Qinqi remarked that their average level was around 20 and Lu Fan looked weaker than them, so she wondered if he was confident in himself or was just an arrogant guy. She extended her hand to Lu Fan and suggested that since he wanted to cooperate, they should team up in a cooperative manner, and to show sincerity, the promised 100,000 dragon coins still count. Lu Fan shook Qinqi's hand and agreed that it was settled then. Qinqi called everyone's attention and announced that they should get moving and get ready to depart. Meanwhile, Xiaowei was sleeping on Lu Fan's system, and he muttered that revealing her identity in front of strangers in the wilderness would only bring trouble, so he would have to trouble Xiaowei to wait until he got the secret rewards before summoning her out. A few moments later, after they entered the secret realm, Sun Ji observed that Lu Fan was empty-handed without any equipment. Lu Fan scoffed in his mind when he heard what Sun Ji observed, and he began to release his fiery aura in the palm of his hand. He summoned the Ink Dragon Deer Antler Sword, an epic quality sword, in his hand, and he explained that he just defeated the 3 Skull Blood Lions and triggered an advanced treasure map, so he finally got the chance to replace his newbie cleaver. Sun Ji was surprised when he saw Lu Fan's weapon and noted that it looked extraordinary. He explained that he thought Lu Fan was a material hunter before by considering his age, and as he asked if Lu Fan was just a newly transferred student, Kair chimed in, and as she asked Sun Ji what it mattered to him, she added that they were cooperating. But if Lu Fan had any ulterior motives, she would subdue him immediately. Sun Ji was startled when a hand emerged from the ground near him and he saw that it was a level 15 decaying zombie. More decaying zombies crawled out of the ground, and as Qinqi called Sun Ji, she warned him to be careful. Their other companion, Xiao Jia, a level 20 knight, quickly moved in front of Sun Ji with his shield and charged forward to deflect the decaying zombies. Sun Ji praised Xiao Jia and complimented that it was well done while Kair whipped out her crossbow and prepared to fight. Sun Ji was a level 28 warrior, while Kair was a level 23 rogue, and the two of them worked together to swiftly eliminate the decaying zombies in their way. Observing them, Lu Fan remarked that the team composition with a warrior, a rogue, and the knight guarding the teleportation gate was very reasonable, especially with Sun Ji, a level 28 warrior who was about to advance to the 2nd class. On the other hand, Qinqi raised her staff while she was chanting some spells and released a bright golden aura that surrounded her. Qinqi used her skill, Holy Light Star Rain, The holy light star rain gathers energy and unleashes starlight rains down, dealing holy damage to enemies with range and providing equivalent healing to allies. Kinkui explained that it was the characteristic of her class and that the hidden class Holy Light Mage could perform both attacks and healing. But of course, the current damage was lower than that of mages and the healing effect was not as effective as priests. She was talking to Lu Fan, who acknowledged that he understood, and as he saw that she was a level 13 Holy Light Mage, he mentioned that it was another hidden class, but her holy damage was very effective against zombies. Suddenly, the ground shook and the group was startled. Seeing the surge of decaying zombies walking towards him, Lu Fan exclaimed that an elite monster had been alerted, and judging by the sound, there were quite a few. Multiple level 20 bloodthirsty zombies suddenly emerged from the ground. When Sun Ji saw them, he stated that it was an elite monster. He called Kair and instructed that she should protect Qin Kui and Lu Fan while he called Xiao Jia and directed that he should come with him to hold the front line and let those rotting flesh break through to the front, to which Xiao Jia agreed. Xiao Jia used his shield as he guarded the front while Sun Ji was behind him, swinging his sword with all his might while jumping off the ground. Sun Ji used his skill, Full Moon Slash, and hit one of the bloodthirsty zombies with his sword. On the other hand, Xiao Jia lunged his sword onto the bloodthirsty zombie's chest. But as Xiao Jia tried to pull his sword, he was so surprised that he couldn't help but ask himself why he couldn't draw out the weapon. Upon closer look, the flesh of the bloodthirsty zombie was holding onto the blade of the sword. The bloodthirsty zombies used their skill, Corpse Poison, which could infect the target with any attack, causing continuous loss of life while healing itself. And as Xiao Jia wondered how that could be, Lu Fan recognized the corpse poison, which required a priest's purify to dispel, and Qin Kui, as a holy light mage, couldn't help him. Xiao Jia was in a panic when the bloodthirsty zombie's flesh started to grab his hand, and as he called Sun Ji, he asked him to help. Sun Ji also experienced the same thing with the bloodthirsty zombie he slashed, and as he abandoned his sword on the bloodthirsty zombie's body, he urged Xiao Jia to quickly release his weapon. As Sun Ji pushed Xiao Jia away from the bloodthirsty zombie, he called Kair and requested that she come to the front and cover him against the zombies. But Sun Ji was surprised when someone interjected that there was no need to trouble Kair. It was Lu Fan, and as he walked forward, he assured Sun Ji that he should let him handle it. The bloodthirsty zombie grew huge, and as it roared and charged towards Lu Fan, who stood in its way, Sun Ji tried to grab Lu Fan while he asked him if he was out of his mind and urged him to back off. But Lu Fan swung his sword, which was imbued with a fiery aura, at the bloodthirsty zombie and managed to cut its body. Sun Ji, Xiao Jia, and even Kair were astonished when they saw how Lu Fan continued to swing his sword and created multiple slashing attacks that eliminated the bloodthirsty zombies. Meanwhile, Qin Kui looked at Lu Fan with awe. A few moments later, Sun Ji was so taken aback that he was lost for words as he tried to talk to Lu Fan. Lu Fan managed to eliminate all the bloodthirsty zombies and retrieved Sun Ji's sword, and as he handed the sword back to Sun Ji, he stated that they shouldn't back down and that they had to keep moving forward. Qin Kui ran towards Xiao Jia and told him to hang in there and let her heal him, while Sun Ji looked astonished, and as he asked Lu Fan how high level he was exactly, he exclaimed that it was impossible for a newly transferred student to have such high attack power. Lu Fan replied that he was a level 14 student. There was no need for him to lie to Sun Ji about that, and he came to the stone plain for the great exam practice. When Qin Kui heard about the great exam practice, she remarked that Lu Fan was a student from the same year as her, while in her mind, she noted that a level 14 student actually had higher attack power than Sun Ji, who was level 28. Suddenly, another bloodthirsty zombie appeared beside Qin Kui, and as it roared loudly, she froze in place. Kair quickly moved to protect Qin Kui and warned her to watch out. But Kair was astonished when she saw that Lu Fan moved faster than her and was able to run past her. Lu Fan plunged his sword into the bloodthirsty zombie's chest, and it crashed towards the wall behind it. As he pulled his sword out, Lu Fan remarked that the level of zombies in the village would only get higher and higher. Lu Fan flicked his sword to get rid of the blood on it, and as he declared that he would fill the gap in the front row, he asked if everyone was okay with that. Everyone was speechless when they heard what Lu Fan remarked, and Qin Kui began to wonder if he could be the person recently rumored in Zhanghai City. Calling Lu Fan her classmate, Qin Kui said that she would count on him, so he and Sun Ji would lead the team in the front while she would take care of Xiao Jia, and Kair would cover the rear because the Mystic Realm Guardian should be in the village. Lu Fan smiled at Qin Kui as he glanced over his shoulder, and he told her that she should just call him Lu Fan. He started walking forward and urged them to come on and go deeper. Sun Ji remained speechless, and while Kair was assisting Xiao Jia, who groaned in pain, Qin Kui stated that Lu Fan was the rumored hidden class Dragon Tamer that recently appeared. Qin asserted that it was impossible because if it was Lu Fan, the Dragon Tamer would be the weakest class. A few moments later, as they traversed deeper into the secret realm, a bloodthirsty zombie crashed face first on the ground. The group reached the Mystic Realm village center and they were surrounded by zombies. Looking over at Xiao Jia's condition, Lu Fan commented that Qin's profession could not remove the corpse poison from him, and the teleportation gate would only appear after defeating the Mystic Realm Guardian, so they had to hurry or Xiao Jia would die there as the corpse poison spread, and he might even turn into a zombie. Kair looked so worried as she pointed out that there was no trace of the Mystic Realm Guardian in the village, and it wasn't right. Meanwhile, Sun Ji already looked tired, and some zombies were already creeping in behind him. When Xiao Jia saw that, even though he was struggling, he called Sun Ji and warned him to watch out from behind. Xiao Jia suddenly collapsed on the ground, which startled and worried Sun Ji, and as the worried Qin called Xiao Jia and urged him to hang in there, something glistened at the ruined building near them. Qin and Sun Ji were alarmed when they noticed that the building turned into an iron-skinned zombie. Kair announced that the Mystic Realm Guardian had appeared. One of the zombies that merged with the iron-skinned zombie growled and muttered that there was fresh flesh. When Lu Fan saw that, he observed that Xiao Jia's corpse poison had worsened to the point where it could awaken iron-skinned zombies, so his guess could be correct, and he called everyone's attention and urged them to quickly defeat it because it might try to assimilate and absorb Xiao Jia. Sun Ji quickly reacted, and he attacked the iron-skinned zombie with his skill, Moonlight Slash. But to his surprise, his sword didn't do any damage, and the iron-skinned zombie was unscathed, so he asked how they could not even scratch it. Lu Fan also charged forward to attack, and he remarked that if the corpse poison kept attracting iron-skinned zombies, there was no time to let them slowly attack. He attacked the iron-skinned zombie's head with his sword, which was imbued with his fiery aura. But the iron-skinned zombie just growled and remained standing because it used its skill, Steel Skin, which made it enter an iron-skinned state that increased its defense and endurance by 40%. Lu Fan noted that they needed 2 more hits, but if they had to be faster, he should use the Dragon Blood Armorization, which partly dragonized him and increased his dragonization power. The iron-skinned zombie growled, and as it muttered that there was fresh flesh, it charged towards Xiao Jia while it began charging its skill, Assimilation Absorption, which absorbs the target and merges with itself to increase its own maximum HP. Lu Fan quickly charged towards the iron-skinned zombie, and as he released his aura around his fist, he called Qin and requested that she use her holy spells with him, and he also called Sun Ji and instructed him to protect Xiao Jia with care. He used his skill, Dragon Blood Armorization, a special effect of the Inked Dragon Deer Antler Sword, partly dragonizing him and increasing his dragonization power, and his arms turned into a huge dragon claw. On the other hand, Qin agreed with Lu Fan and quickly began using her holy spells. Lu Fan gritted his teeth as he charged forward and swung his claw. He got the Dragon Claw Dragon Blood Armorization bonus, which transformed his arm into a dragon claw with the power that depended on the Black Dragon, and he used it to attack the iron-skinned zombie while Qin used her skill, Holy Light Star Rain. The iron-skinned zombie roared and called for flesh as it began to crumble, and Kair was surprised that it started to disintegrate. Meanwhile, Sun Ji was speechless when Lu Fan mentioned that it looked like the iron-skinned zombie relied on continuous fusion absorption to become enormous, so its main body must be wrapped up in it. Sun Ji remarked that being in the Qin family for so many years, he had seen all kinds of experts, so Lu Fan was definitely a hidden professional. On the other hand, the iron-skinned zombie continued to crumble, and it revealed a smaller mouth near its eye. It was a smaller zombie, and it worried about its flesh. Qin noticed it, and as she commented that the main body appeared, Lu Fan quickly charged forward with his dragon claw. The iron-skinned zombie was alarmed when it saw Lu Fan jump in front of it while swinging his arm and shouted that it should take the attack. Lu Fan's dragon claw released a powerful aura, and as he demanded that the iron-skinned zombie kneel down, the iron-skinned zombie growled in pain. The iron-skinned zombie's main body got burned by the flames. As Lu Fan landed on the ground, a huge explosion occurred. Everyone was taken aback, and Kair was so surprised that he couldn't help but ask if the Guardian of the Hidden Realm was defeated. Qin looked wary as she remarked that she had never seen such a powerful skill that easily took down a level 20 boss, and she wondered who exactly Lu Fan was. Suddenly, a level 20 iron-skinned zombie treasure chest appeared. As Qin approached the chest, she called Lu Fan and informed him that they would abide by the arrangement and distribute according to the rules. She added that before, they weren't familiar with each other and underestimated him, so she requested that he forgive them because they were abrupt. Sun Ji commented that Lu Fan definitely had the ability to solo that hidden realm, so currently, it seemed like they were just tagging along, but Lu Fan replied that Sun Ji flattered him and that it was up to Qin to distribute. When Qin opened the chest, Lu Fan was startled. He furrowed his brows as he stared at the contents of the chest. The chest contained the strength potion, which increased strength by a certain amount upon use, the antidote potion, which removed the corpse poison upon use, and the morning bracers, and as Kair inquired if that was all the rewards from that fortuitous realm, Sunji remarked that it seemed a bit shabby. While Kinkui handed the antidote potion to Sunji and instructed him to quickly give it to Xiaojia to drink, Lu Fan commented that there was no way that a level 20 fortuitous realm would only have rewards of that quality. Kinkui handed the morning bracers to Lu Fan and stated that it was what he deserved, along with those strength and antidote potions, so he should take them all. And while Lu Fan acknowledged that the people of the Qin family really did follow the rules, Sunji was busy making Xiaojia drink the antidote potion and asking him if he felt any better. Lu Fan was preoccupied with equipping and storing the items he got when Kinkui suddenly mentioned that it was strange that they defeated the boss, but she couldn't see the portal. As Kair suggested that they look around, Lu Fan looked concerned. Lu Fan cautioned that they should wait and not wander around just yet. Seeing the system screen, Lu Fan noticed that the realm was still in progress, and he immediately announced that the Iron Skin zombie wasn't the final boss. Sunji asked Lu Fan why he concluded that and if he had a new discovery. Suddenly, Kinkui looked troubled as she called Sunji, and she informed him that as a Hall Light Mage, she could indeed sense a dark presence. She was facing the village of Grief Lakeside, and as she sensed the dark fog in front of her, she indicated that it was nearby. Sunji approached the lake and remarked that if Kinkui said so, the real boss must be nearby. Unaware of the huge, dark figure lurking underneath the waters, Sunji observed that the realm wasn't big, so they might have missed something when they first entered the village. Suddenly, the tentacles of the dark figure in the water had multiple eyes open in them. Lu Fan seemed to have sensed its awakening, and he alerted everyone that it was coming. Everyone was alarmed when huge, tentacle-like hands filled with eyes emerged from the waters, and everything about it, from its name to its level, was unknown. Sunji confirmed that Lu Fan was right and that it should be the final boss. He quickly protected the front lines as the monster attacked, and he advised everyone to be careful and take cover behind the barricade. Sunji groaned as he blocked the monster's huge hands. But those hands were so powerful that Sunji was sent flying by the impact, and everyone got worried about him. Kinkui was alarmed when she felt the presence of the monster behind her. She was caught off guard, and the monster's huge hands were about to attack her. Kinkui was so terrified that she was only able to raise her staff to protect herself and close her eyes. Suddenly, someone ran really fast. Kinkui's group was horrified when they saw the monster's arms wrap around her. But Lu Fan managed to swoop in to carry Kinkui in his arms and save her, which flustered her. Lu Fan's movement was so abrupt that he landed on the ground badly and skidded on it. Kinkui's group quickly ran towards her and asked if she was okay. Suddenly, Kair froze in terror, and she was alarmed when she felt the ominous figure behind her. The huge monster continued to get out of the water, and they all looked so tiny in comparison to it. As the huge monster walked on land, it was revealed that there was a chained woman in its body. It was a level 25 grieving specter, which was a boss with hard difficulty. Kair claimed that it was the real boss. Sunji instructed Xiaojia to come behind him as he would hold the boss back, but Xiaojia insisted that he could still fight and he would help block the boss too. Sunji yelled at Xiaojia and argued that he shouldn't be stubborn just after recovering. He stated that he would leave the attacks to Lu Fan, and Lu Fan quickly charged forward. Lu Fan declared that Sunji and Xiaojia were holding on, so he would have to deal with the boss, and as long as the boss was still a zombie, there was only one way. He asserted that he should kill its main body. The grieving specter suddenly screeched. She used her skill, Corpse Kai Envelopment, in which she constantly emitted Corpse Kai and reduced all attributes of the creatures in the realm by 20%. Everyone got their attributes reduced by 20%, and Xiaojia groaned in pain. Meanwhile, Lu Fan continued moving forward, and he dodged the attack of one of the grieving specter's hands. Lu Fan landed on the chains that restrained the main body. He ran forward and used the chains as a path towards the main body. The grieving specter was astonished when she saw what Lu Fan did. Kinkui suddenly called Lu Fan and warned that he should watch out for the iron chains. The grieving specter used her skill, Chain Lash, which whipped the target with the heavy chains from the lake that caused massive damage, and Lu Fan was alarmed when he fell off the chains. The grieving specter yelled as she lashed the chains in her arms. The others were startled when they saw that the chains were coming at them. Sunji immediately urged Kinkui to be careful, while Xiaojia used his skill, Charge, and Kair attacked with her bow. Another hand of the grieving specter was about to attack Lu Fan while he lost his balance and fell off the chains, and Kair's arrow was right behind him. Lu Fan was surprised when he saw Kair's arrow hit the grieving specter's hand. He was agitated, and he quickly looked behind him. Lu Fan warned that if the others kept resisting like that, they would die. He grabbed the chains and crouched as he got back on them. Lu Fan was thrown forward by the chains, and he ordered everyone to get back. He used his skill, Dragon Fang Strike, which mobilized Dragon Kai to unleash a powerful strike with the current weapon. The grieving specter screamed in pain after she received Lu Fan's attack. She used her skill, Chain Lash, again. Lu Fan maneuvered himself in the air to quickly avoid the chains that were chaotically moving around him. He used his skill, Dragon Blood Armor Transformation. That had the special effect of the Ink Dragon Scale Sword and caused partial dragonization of the user, increasing his dragon power. Lu Fan used his skill, Dragon Claw, which had the Dragon Blood Armor Transformation bonus of transforming the arm into a dragon claw, and its power depended on the Black Dragon. Everyone was astonished when they saw how the chains that Lu Fan broke fell into the ground. Sun Ji exclaimed that they couldn't handle the boss, so they should retreat in the meantime, and Qin Kui agreed that they were not a match for the boss, so if Lu Fan continued delaying them, they would all be in danger. Lu Fan called Sun Ji and instructed him to take care and lead the others back into the village as the zombies had already been cleared out there, which made Qin Kui ask him what about him. Lu Fan asserted that he would cover the rear, so they should all retreat quickly. Care called Qin Kui and urged that they should hurry, while Qin Kui lamented that they could only rely on Lu Fan, and that they were completely useless. On the other hand, Lu Fan remarked that even without the debuff reducing all attributes by 20%, they wouldn't be of much help anyway, and since everyone knew that well, he should let the ones who could really cooperate with him handle the boss. The grieving specter screamed at Lu Fan. Meanwhile, Lu Fan summoned a portal. Lu Fan announced that Xiao Yi could already come out and move around. Xiao Yi came out in her dragon form, and she roared and bit the grieving specter's hand as soon as she came out of the portal. On the other hand, the others stopped and looked back, and as Xiao Jia asked what was happening, Kair asked to confirm if it was a dragon. They all saw Xiao Yi, who was fighting with the grieving specter, and Kair asked if the kid Lu Fan summoned a giant dragon. Xiao Yi used her skill, Giant Jaws Assault, a high-speed rush followed by a tearing bite, causing continuous bleeding damage to the target. The grieving specter screamed in pain after she experienced Xiao Yi's attack. Xiao Yi charged forward with her claws and broke the chains as she mauled the grieving specter. The grieving specter couldn't do anything but scream in pain as she fell back into the water. The water in the lake made a huge splash when the grieving specter fell onto it. Bubbles began to appear at the surface of the lake. Kair asked if Lu Fan defeated the grieving specter, and while Sun Ji exclaimed that it was terrifying because the boss was dismembered in just a few blows, Xiao Jia admitted that he actually witnessed a giant dragon. On the other hand, Qin Kui wondered if the person rumored in Zhonghai City recently was really Lu Fan. Qin Kui wondered if he was the Dragon Tamer Lu Fan. 300 years ago, the grieving specter was born and raised in the village, under the protection of the church, away from the dangers of intrusion. It wasn't until a plague destroyed everything, and bodies piled up by the lake, with more people dying before they could be buried. The grieving specter desperately wanted to save everyone, but she ended up becoming a dark witch. She couldn't heal the dying patients, and she could only summon spirits to allow the living to say goodbye. But the church that once sheltered them claimed that it was the grieving specter who brought the plague. The priest insisted that they should lock her up with iron chains, and as they cursed her and demanded why she wanted to harm the village, the grieving specter wondered why they were all treating her like that when it was she who allowed them to say their last goodbyes to their families. The grieving specter declared that she just wanted to save everyone, even if all she could do was help them say goodbye. She protested that she hadn't done anything wrong and questioned why they did such a thing. Back in the present, the others asked how Lu Fan could summon a dragon, and one of them remarked that they could already leave the secret realm. But Lu Fan argued that if the portal hadn't appeared, the boss wasn't dead yet, so it was too early to leave. The grieving specter began to resurface in the water, and she kept wondering why. The water on the lake burst out as the grieving specter emerged. She screamed in anguish, and the water swirled around her. Everyone was on guard as the grieving specter kept demanding why. The grieving specter cursed and accused them. She transformed into the Phase 2 boss, the level 25 Morning Grudge with a hard nightmare level difficulty. Kair warned that the boss was transitioning to the next phase. The Morning Grudge absorbed the water around her. She hurled the water at the hunters and threatened that no one should even think about escaping. Xiao Yi used her immunity effects, restraint along with her skill, Black Dragon Bloodline, where all damage received was reduced by 50%. She had immunity to all debuff effects, and her self-recovery ability increased by 500% to block the Morning Grudge's attack. On the other hand, Kair dodged the water ball that was thrown at her. But to her surprise, the water moved towards her and trapped her, which made Qin Kui call her name. Kair clicked her tongue and exclaimed that she couldn't destroy it at all, and the system notified them that the skill was Body of Resentment, which was immune to all physical damage. She lamented that it was over and apologized to Qin Kui, but Qin Kui refused and said that she should be the one to apologize. Qin Kui admitted that it was because she insisted on coming to that secret realm that everyone was trapped there, and Lu Fan asked her if they were all just going to give up at that point. Kinqui argued that she was the only one capable of magical attacks, but she didn't have much damage at her level. And as Sunji observed that the boss was immune to all physical damage, so they couldn't even protect themselves in that situation, he asked Lu Fan if he still had magic attacks. The Morning Grudge used her skill, Lamentation Impact, which released a curse of resentment and had a low chance to cause instant death to the target. But if instant death was not triggered, it inflicted a large amount of damage and added effects such as corpse poison, bleeding, and stun. Lu Fan admitted that he couldn't use magic attacks. He received immunity effect to instant death, corpse poison, bleeding, and stun as Xiao Yi triggered her skill Black Dragon Bloodline. Lu Fan stated that his dragon pet could use magic attacks. Kair identified it as the Dragon Tamer, but noted that the level difference was significant. The Morning Grudge cursed and repeatedly denied responsibility. Lu Fan reassured them that the attributes of a dragon couldn't be compared to humans. The Morning Grudge attacked again using her skill, Lamentation Impact, and she asserted that it was them who were to blame. Xiao Yi triggered her skill, Black Dragon Bloodline, to block the Morning Grudge's attack and trigger the immunity effects for the debuffs. Lu Fan called Xiao Yi and used his skill, Dragon Inspiration, which inspired oneself and the dragon pet and increased all attributes and attack power by a certain percentage. He used Xiao Yi's skill, Lava Blaze, where she continuously spewed flames forward, causing damage while healing herself. The Morning Grudge screamed in pain and shouted no as she got burned by Xiao Yi's fierce flames. Kinqui was speechless. Xiao Ji announced that it was over and the boss was completely crushed. Kair screamed and complained that it was hot, and Sunji declared that it was simply a calamity. The Morning Grudge screamed and shouted no while she continued to get scorched by Xiao Yi's flames. She exploded and triggered her skill, Will of Resentment, which was a burst of resentment that awakened all corpses in the secret realm. The Morning Grudge released purple smoke while she slowly disappeared into the fire. As the smoke dissipated, a chest was revealed. Xiao Yi transformed into her humanoid form as the system notified Lu Fan that her level increased, and Lu Fan praised her while the system notified him that his level increased to 5. Sunji remarked that it was over as he saw the portal, and while Xiao Ji coughed and pointed out that it was finally there while complaining about the smoke, Kinqui asked Kair if she was okay. Suddenly, Sunji and Xiao Ji were startled when they heard the sound of the corpses. They immediately shouted that the zombies in the village were resurrected. Suddenly, Xiao Yi appeared, and Sunji asked what it was. Xiao Yi used her skill, Lava Blaze, and the corpses screamed in pain as they got burned. Sunji asked if Xiao Yi was the giant dragon, and Kinqui confirmed that Xiao Yi effortlessly killed the zombies they struggled to kill before. Lu Fan stated that Xiao Yi was the black dragon, and she dealt with those minions like playing. He called Kinqui and pointed out that the boss was taken care of, so there was no need to be so tense because after distributing the rewards, they could prepare to leave. Lu Fan added that following the rules, he would choose first, and as he asked if there were any objections, Kinqui immediately responded no and that there was no reason for them to object. Lu Fan opened the chest, and a bright light emerged from it. Inside lay the Holy Light Staff, which contained the Holy Light Seal that allowed the user to bind targets with beams of light, and the duration of binding depended on the user's spirit attribute. There was also the Twilight, which possessed the light flow that enabled the user to create a protective barrier using beams of light. There was also the Ring of Morning, which carried the morning aura that could designate any target to bear the aura that inflicted resentment points with any attack, and the Class Change Scroll, which guided non-hidden occupations to have a low probability of changing to the current occupation's superior hidden occupation. Lu Fan took the Class Change Scroll and declared that he would choose that one. Kinqui responded that Lu Fan didn't need to go out of his way for them because, after all, according to the rules, those items belonged to him. But Lu Fan clarified that he wasn't pretending to be a gentleman, as the equipment with attributes like spirit suited her better, but he really needed the Class Change Scroll. Kinqui remarked that if it weren't for Lu Fan, they might all have died there. She offered Lu Fan the Ring of Morning and requested that he should at least accept it. Lu Fan accepted the ring and replied that he wouldn't be polite then. Sunji called Kinqui and urged that they should get ready to go back, while Kinqui wondered what else Lu Fan was hiding and observed that he was really hard to figure out. 4 hours later, in the evening, at the bun shop in Zhonghai City, Han-Ki hugged Lu Fan and exclaimed that it was too dangerous, and just listening to his story made her shudder as he had encountered so many dangers in those past few days. Lu Fan asked her what was wrong and urged that she should let go of him because he had been out in the wild for days, so his clothes were dirty. Han-Ki sobbed and insisted that Lu Fan was not dirty at all. She explained that he left without a word, and she hadn't slept for several nights as she was afraid that it might all be a dream and that when she woke up, he still wouldn't be back. Lu Fan apologized to Han-Ki for going outside the city without discussing it with her and promised that she shouldn't worry because he wouldn't make her worry anymore. He said alright and urged Han-Ki to stop crying, and Han-Ki agreed. Han-ki turned to Xiaoyi and admitted that she was startled when she first saw her because a cute girl like her turned out to be an incredibly powerful dragon, and Xiaoyi roared in response. Han-ki commented that Xiaoyi probably hadn't eaten well in those past few days and asked if she was hungry, and as Xiaoyi nodded, Lu Fan called Han-ki as he handed her the class change scroll and explained that it was a reward he specifically selected for her for completing the dungeon. Lu Fan assured Han-ki that if she changed into a hidden occupation, she wouldn't have to keep guarding the bun shop anymore, but Han-ki declined, explaining that it was too valuable, so she couldn't accept it, and she suggested that they just sell it, as Lu Fan explained that he left the weapon and equipment to Kin-kui, so if they sold that scroll, they could buy 2 pieces of equipment for him so he could perform better in the big exam. He explained that he didn't lack money or equipment, and Han-ki was surprised when she saw Lu Fan's account balance on the Dragon Garden Zhonghai Silver Bank. Lu Fan explained that he sold a lot of materials collected on that trip, and Kin-kui also promised a reward of 100,000, so Han-ki should trust him that they wouldn't have to worry about money anymore in the future, and Han-ki was moved. He urged Han-ki to take the scroll, and it was best to use it immediately, and Han-ki agreed, saying that she would use it immediately. Han-ki opened the scroll, and it emitted a bright light. The scroll disappeared, and Han-ki went through the class change into the system. Lu Fan asked Han-ki if it worked. Han-ki confirmed that it worked as she had become the superior hidden occupation enchantment chef of the chef, and Lu Fan asked what was special about the new occupation. She explained that she now had an enchantment cooking skill, which allowed her to make foods with various buffs, and as Lu Fan observed that with her cooking skills, the additional attributes must be high, she laughed and remarked that Lu Fan was good at talking. But Lu Fan remembered something and asked where Xiaoyi went as she was there earlier. Meanwhile, Xiaoyi was fast asleep in the kitchen as she slept in the middle of binging the buns. On the other hand, in the study of the Qin family villa, Qin Shanhai asked Kin-kui if the person named Lu Fan was a Dragon Tamer, who summoned a powerful black dragon and saved everyone. Kin-kui confirmed and admitted that it was because of her stubbornness that everyone almost lost their lives. She added that Lu Fan was too strong because both of them had hidden occupations, but the difference between them was like that between a firefly and the moon. Qin Shanhai asked Kin-kui if she told anyone about the dragon. Kin-kui confirmed that she hadn't because she made a promise with Lu Fan when she returned that she wouldn't mention the dragon's matter outside the Qin family. Qin Shanhai commended Kin-kui, remarking that if that matter leaked out, he could only wonder how many of those who coveted the power of the dragon would remain calm. Kin-kui called Qin Shanhai and remarked that Lu Fan saved everyone's lives. She asked if he had any thoughts about Lu Fan's dragon. Qin Shanhai laughed and asked Kin-kui if she thought he was that kind of person. He asked her what about her, how she planned to thank Lu Fan for saving her life, and Kin-kui explained that when she invited Lu Fan to join the team, she promised him a reward of 100,000. Qin Shanhai instructed Kin-kui to bring a purple tongue card the next day and personally go to thank Lu Fan, and Kin-kui agreed. But Kin-kui remarked that Qin Shanhai was curious about Lu Fan and asked if he was not going with her. Qin Shanhai explained that if he could, he would definitely want to meet the Dragon Tamer, but he made arrangements that morning. He added that the princess of Tazi Kingdom was coming to study in their Zhonghai city, and there was frequent business traffic, so it was hard to avoid receiving her, but coming just before the big exam, he was afraid that it was not for studying. The next morning, Princess Jinju arrived in Zhonghai city with Kui Hongtai. The two of them stood in front of the bun shop. When they knocked, Han-ki responded. Han-ki asked if they wanted to buy some buns and apologized. Princess Jinju asked Kui Hongtai if that was really the place and if she was at the dump. And as Kui Hongtai confirmed that he did, according to the investigation, it was indeed there, Han-ki asked them who they were. Kui Hongtai and Princess Jinju ignored Han-ki, and Han-ki screamed in pain as Kui Hongtai forcefully pushed the door open, throwing her in the process. Princess Jinju rudely called Han-ki, and as she explained that she was there to find someone, she asked if Han-ki knew someone named Lu Fan. Suddenly, Lu Fan came down the stairs and inquired if someone was looking for him. Lu Fan was surprised when he saw the state Han-ki was in, while Princess Jinju observed that the place was full of disgusting smells. Lu Fan asked Han-ki if everything was okay and what was going on, and as Han-ki assured that everything was fine, Princess Jinju asked if he was Lu Fan and clarified that she had come to see him specially. Lu Fan asked to confirm if a princess was looking for him and who they were. Kui Hongtai explained that Princess Jinju was from Tazi Kingdom, and he was her attendant, and Princess Jinju added that she had come to offer Lu Fan a breakthrough opportunity. Lu Fan asked about the breakthrough, and Princess Jinju laughed as she confirmed it and remarked that being a dragon tamer must be tough. He was astonished when he saw that Princess Jinju presented a dragon egg to him. Princess Jinju explained that as long as Lu Fan agreed to her terms, it was his. She asked Lu Fan what he thought, if he was surprised, and if he wanted it, and she added that the conditions were simple. She wanted him to be her slave, and he would do everything she said, and he must never disobey her. Princess Jinju declared that it was the reward that she obtained in the armored dragon's lair, and it was the only dragon egg in the world, while Lu Fan asked her if he was to be a slave. She inquired if Lu Fan couldn't speak and remarked that it was understandable for someone who has never seen such a powerful dragon to be scared. Lu Fan saw the attributes of the armored dragon egg, and he commented that it was a land dragon, which was even lower in rank than a wyvern. He noted that the armored dragon's endurance was the only thing worth considering, yet Princess Jinju called that thing a dragon, and he observed that the attributes were quite good, which rendered Princess Jinju speechless. While Princess Jinju wondered if Lu Fan really knew what he was seeing and if he didn't understand what a dragon egg meant to a dragon tamer. Han Ki asked how Princess Jinju could be like that, and Lu Fan replied that Han Ki shouldn't worry because he will handle them. Princess Jinju questioned Lu Fan if she was right that a dragon tamer without a dragon was worthless and stated that as long as Lu Fan became her servant, he could become the strongest profession in history, one that has never been recorded in history, and she inquired if just thinking about it doesn't make him excited. Lu Fan agreed that it was quite exciting, but he refused, and Princess Jinju was stunned. Princess Jinju asked Lu Fan if he knew what he was declining and that he was refusing to become her servant, to become a dragon tamer who will make history. Lu Fan responded that if Princess Jinju came to him for that matter, he would request that she leave because he was not interested in the dragon egg and being a servant was a joke. Kui Hongtai chimed in and remarked that Princess Jinju personally gave Lu Fan a chance to rise to prominence, and he was an ignorant fool for daring to speak disrespectfully. But Lu Fan scoffed when he heard the words chance and respect, and as he replied that Kui Hongtai shouldn't be ridiculous because he won't be anyone's servant, Kui Hongtai was pissed. Princess Jinju ordered Kui Hongtai to teach Lu Fan a lesson, and Kui Hongtai immediately complied. Han Ki requested that they wait a moment, that they shouldn't be angry, and if they could just drop the matter because Lu Fan really doesn't want it. But Kui Hongtai punched Han Ki, and as he remarked that Han Ki should stand aside because Princess Jinju had ordered, Lu Fan called Han Ki. Lu Fan inquired where Han Ki was injured, and he offered to help her, but Han Ki repeatedly reassured him that she was fine. Kui Hongtai declared that even mere commoners dare to defy the noble princess of Taejai. He stated that they should do it the hard way, and while Lu Fan advised Han Ki not to rush to get up, Han Ki saw the incoming attack, and she tried to warn Lu Fan. Kui Hongtai was surprised when a fiery aura swirled around him and his face suddenly bled. Lu Fan pointed a dagger at Kui Hongtai and accused him of hurting his family. He vowed that he would kill Kui Hongtai. Han Ki pleaded with Lu Fan not to be impulsive, and while Kui Hongtai froze due to shock, Princess Jinju demanded to know what he was doing and reminded him that she wanted him to teach Lu Fan a lesson, but he replied that there was something wrong with Lu Fan. Lu Fan called Princess Jinju's attention. He declared that he didn't care which country's princess, Princess Jinju, was, so she should shut her noisy mouth, take her trash, and leave, and Princess Jinju groaned in pain as she got slapped on the face. Kui Hongtai questioned how a lowly person dared to lay hands on a princess. Lu Fan blocked Kui Hongtai's blade. He effortlessly parried Kui Hongtai's attack and made him let go of his blade. Kui Hongtai quickly went to Princess Jinju and asked if she was okay. Princess Jinju suddenly slapped Kui Hongtai. She berated him for being useless trash and asked if she looked okay to him. Princess Jinju demanded that Kui Hongtai go and kill Lu Fan for her because even if they can't find another dragon tamer, she wants him dead, and Kui Hongtai agreed. On the other hand, Xiao Yi woke up to the sound of Lu Fan's phone ringing when Qin Kui called. Qin Kui remarked that it was strange that no one answered the phone and that it was the numbers they exchanged when they went back to the city, so she wondered if she remembered it wrong. She began looking for Lu Fan's house. Suddenly, a huge explosion appeared right in front of Qin Kui. One of the bystanders asked if someone was fighting and where they were, and as Kui Hongtai groaned in pain as he got pushed out of the shop, another bystander commented that there was a foreigner causing trouble. Princess Jinju demanded to know what the lowly people were looking at and ordered them to hurry up and get out of there. Kui Hongtai observed that Lu Fan's attributes were not low and that he was incompetent, and Princess Jinju criticized him for being useless because he fought with a dragon tamer like that. Princess Jinju offered to help Kui Hongtai out. She began casting a spell and released her dark aura. Lu Fan noted that the spell was like an extreme opposite of Qin Kui's, and it seemed that Princess Jinju was also a hidden class. Suddenly, Qin Kui asked Lu Fan what was going on, and Lu Fan inquired why she was there. Qin Kui and Lu Fan were both alarmed when they saw the dark aura affect Kui Hongtai. Kui Hongtai released a strong gust of wind that affected both Qin Kui and Lu Fan. Hui Hongtai was a combat class 30 Guardian Knight 2, while Princess Jinju was a hidden combat class Advanced Spiritual Witch. Lu Fan commented that Hui Hongtai turned into a monster, and Qin Kui immediately called Lu Fan and offered to help him. Hui Hongtai laughed maniacally as he galloped forward, while Lu Fan warned Qin Kui to stay away, and requested that she take care of Han Qi for him as she is in the shop. Hui Hongtai demanded that Lu Fan should die. Lu Fan observed that Hui Hongtai's attack power has become so high that it looks like he will have to use Dragon's inspiration with Dragon Claw. Meanwhile, Princess Jinju agreed and affirmed that was it. She ordered Hui Hongtai to kill Lu Fan to relieve her anger. Hui Hongtai stated that he was with Princess Jinju's augmentation when Xiao Yi suddenly came out of the shop. Lu Fan called Xiao Yi, and Hui Hongtai was taken aback. He remarked that things worked perfectly. On the other hand, Princess Jinju was terrified, as she wondered if it could be that Xiao Yi was a real dragon. Lu Fan declared that it was his turn to take action. Xiao Yi roared ferociously and both Princess Jinju and Hui Hongtai were petrified. Both of them screamed in pain as Xiao Yi slammed Hui Hongtai into the ground, and Princess Jinju was blown away by the impact. While Princess Jinju wondered how it was possible that Xiao Yi defeated Hui Hongtai in one blow, Hui Hongtai coughed and asked for help and for her to save him. Princess Jinju stated that the useless Hui Hongtai should hold on, and her skill began charging. But Xiao Yi roared loudly, and Princess Jinju's skill was interrupted with the Black Dragon Bloodline skill. Hui Hongtai screamed and pleaded that Xiao Yi should let go of him. Xiao Yi threw Hui Hongtai away, and he groaned in pain as he crashed on the ground. Hui Hongtai apologized to Princess Jinju, and Princess Jinju believed that the power must be from a giant dragon, so apart from their Jin family having dragon eggs, there are other dragons existing. Lu Fan called Princess Jinju. He asked Princess Jinju if she wasn't going to kill him to vent her anger, and Princess Jinju replied that he shouldn't come and he should stay away from her. Princess Jinju declared that Lu Fan attacked her attendant, seriously injured him, and humiliated her. She asked Lu Fan if he knew what consequences his actions would bring and remarked that he is an enemy of the Taiki Kingdom. But Lu Fan just laughed, and he asked Princess Jinju if she was trying to scare him. He asserted that Princess Jinju sent her man to harm his family, and Princess Jinju asked him what he wanted to do. Lu Fan cautioned that Princess Jinju shouldn't say that she is some kind of princess from the Taiki Kingdom, and Xiao Yi began charging her skill. Lu Fan insisted that it didn't matter even if Princess Jinju was a god. He vowed that he would repay what she did with interest. Qin Shanhai suddenly called Lu Fan. He demanded that Lu Fan should stop. Qin Kui called Qin Shanhai and warned that it was dangerous. She explained that Xiao Yi doesn't want it. Lu Fan urged that Xiao Yi should stop it. He cut Princess Jinju's staff and she flinched. On the other hand, Xiao Yi closed her mouth to disperse her fireball and let Qin Shanhai through. Qin Shanhai landed on the ground and hopped off his griffin. He mentioned that there are many residents around, so Lu Fan should hurry up and take his giant dragon back, and he considered that true dragons are indeed different from subtypes because he could feel such pressure just by being close. Qin Kui called Lu Fan and advised that he should just do as her dad says, and she requested that he believe in them. Xiao Yi roared, but Lu Fan commanded that she should stop. Qin Kui suggested that Lu Fan should follow her, while Qin Shanhai asked Princess Jinju if she was alright and noted that he just went to the airport to pick her up but didn't expect to find her there. Qin Shanhai informed that the Qin family's driver will be there soon to take Princess Jinju to the hospital. Meanwhile, Han Qi observed that Qin Kui indicated that her father might know Princess Jinju. Han Qi proposed that perhaps there is a way to resolve the conflict, so Qin Kui made the call, but Lu Fan expressed that he has a feeling that Princess Jinju won't let things go. Qin Shanhai chimed in and commented that he understood the situation. He added that Lu Fan really has a knack for it as he caused trouble for him as soon as they met, and Lu Fan apologized for troubling him, but he responded that the situation can't be blamed on him. Han Qi asked Qin Shanhai how the incident with Lu Fan would be handled, and Qin Shanhai answered that Princess Jinju and Hui Hongtai have been sent to the hospital, so they need to give the Jin family an explanation after all. Qin Shanhai pointed out that the Jin family not only engages in business but also has considerable influence in the upper echelons of the Taiki Kingdom, and Han Qi voiced that given the opponent's background and the fact that Lu Fan actually struck them, she fears that Lu Fan may face punishment. Lu Fan pronounced that even if Princess Jinju has immense power, he doesn't care because he won't compromise his dignity for a dragon egg. Qin Shanhai laughed when he heard Lu Fan talk about integrity, and he acknowledged that he did well as he admired it, so Lu Fan shouldn't need to worry too much as he has a way to ensure his safety. But he admitted that he can't do it alone, so he has a condition. Lu Fan asked what the condition was. Qin Shanhai offered that if Lu Fan achieves South Province champion in the Grand Exam, he will do his best to delay Princess Jinju until he finishes the Grand Exam. Kui mused that it won't be easy because there are countless top students in the entire South Province. Qin Shanhai reiterated that only if Lu Fan could surpass them and become the champion could he help him. Lu Fan agreed that he understood and that he would accept that condition. On the other hand, at the hospital, Princess Jinju asked if the guy named Lu Fan hadn't been caught yet. Princess Jinju complained that Qin Shanhai is obviously favoring Lu Fan, and the person on the phone counseled that she should calm down as they will contact the high-level officials of Longdu immediately and ask them to resolve the matter, to which Princess Jinju conceded that it was better. She instructed that they should put pressure on Lu Fan and that it was her order. She threatened that she was going to kill Lu Fan. The next day, before the grand exam, on the third middle school playground, the students had gathered, and as one of them asked another student if they were also level 11 and exclaimed that they were amazing. Another student shared that they had mastered all mage skills and asked if they wanted to team up later. Suddenly, one of the students shouted that they should look and asked if it wasn't Lu Fan. One of the students joked that they thought Lu Fan went home to sell buns, and another snickered that the top student has turned into trash and no school wants him, so they asked why he was still participating in the exam. Lu Fan felt that he was too lazy to deal with that nostalgic idle gossip at the moment. Old Bai called the students' attention and requested that they quiet down. He proclaimed that he announced that the South Province Grand Exam was about to begin. Lu Fan believed that after self-upgrading to level 15, the treasure maps received every day have not been used yet, and it was a pity that they are all intermediate. He considered that if those three were combined into a high-level treasure map, it should be able to prepare him for the big exam when Mr. Lai suddenly called him and asked if he was also participating in the big exam. Lu Fan replied yes and that he must participate. He mentioned that also improved his strength in the past few days, to which Mr. Lai responded that it was good, and as he added that Lu Fan must work hard, he gave him his teleportation stone. Mr. Lai stated that the teachers believe in Lu Fan's fighting spirit, which may not be worse than that of other professionals. He remarked that the importance of the profession is too great, and although it's an exam, any mistake could lead to injury or even death, so Lu Fan should try to team up with classmates for the trial. And if it is not working out, Lu Fan should use the teleportation stone to exit, and he shouldn't make things difficult for himself, to which Lu Fan agreed. Lu Fan supposed that the team's score would be divided among the teammates, and what he wanted was not just to pass the trial but to be the first when Kui suddenly called him. He commented that it was a coincidence, and as he asked Kui if it was her teammate, Kui replied yes. She noted that she would introduce Lu Fan to her incredibly strong best friend, Tao Xiaoman, a level 1 swordsman, and Tao Xiaoman greeted Lu Fan. Kui asked Lu Fan if he would like to team up with them for the trial. Lu Fan apologized and declared that he planned to participate alone. He expressed that he knew Kui wanted to help him, but it was a condition he promised on his own, so he will go to the exam site first and they should play well later. Kui observed that Lu Fan should too, and she felt that from Lu Fan's strength, anyone who teams up with him will only drag him down. Tao Xiaoman asked Kui why she invited the weakest profession to team up, and Kui uttered that Lu Fan is strong, and whether she believes it or not, that year's top scorer in the southern province will definitely be Lu Fan. Tao Xiaoman asked Kui what she was talking about and that she shouldn't tell her that he has fallen for the Dragon Tamer, to which Kui responded and asserted that, of course not, so Tao Xiaoman should stop imagining things, but Tao Xiaoman exclaimed that Kui's face was all red earlier. On the other hand, Lu Fan walked through a portal to go to the exam site. The students were gathered at the Dragon Nation, Southern Province, Shanghai City, Grand Exam Trial Secret Realm, and Lu Fan announced that it was where the trial would begin. Old Bai called the students' attention and explained that the portals in the sky are divided into 4 levels: normal, hard, fear, and nightmare, and when it opens, selected candidates of that level could enter the Heavenly Tower using a teleportation stone. He continued that the Heavenly Tower at the normal level, which has a score multiplier of 0.9, is all projections and won't cause fatal injuries, but from the hard level onwards, they are all real monsters. He added that when they use a teleportation stone to exit, their score could be retained. The hard difficulty has a score multiplier of 1, and the students expressed that it seemed like everyone defaults to that difficulty level and going any higher would be suicidal because only the hidden professions would dare. Old Bai warned that the monsters at the fear level, which has a score multiplier of 3, are more ferocious, so it is not recommended for solo challenges, and they shouldn't think about teammates sharing scores because life is more important. But Hongwu began laughing. Hongwu was a level 14 Kaigong master, a hidden combat profession, and as he asked Old Bai if he was watching, he proclaimed that the highest score would be his at that time. Tao Xiaoman mentioned that Hongwu is the number 1 expert at number 1 middle school, and ranks in the top 5 in the province. And Qin Kui observed that a Kaigong master is a versatile combat profession, whether attacking or defending, and Hong Wu challenged solo, so it was their turn too. The students lamented that they were doomed because with Hong Wu there, they could only aim for lower rankings because they were definitely no match for him and they should have chosen a lower difficulty. At the Grand Exam Trial Principal's office, the number 1 middle school principal laughed and boasted that Hong Wu is the most formidable student at their school. He added that it was a sure win for Hong Wu to become the top scorer, and he thinks that Qin Kui is also quite good, so in his opinion, she should rank in the top 3. Meanwhile, the number 3 high school principal sighed, and he reflected that it was a pity for Lu Fan because if he had awakened another hidden profession, he might not have let number 1 middle school take all the credit. Qin Shanhai called the principal's attention and announced that, for the first place, he had a promising candidate in mind at that time, and he was quite optimistic about him, which intrigued the principals, and they asked Qin Shanhai who he referred to. Qin Shanhai revealed that it was Lu Fan, the Dragon Tamer from number 3 high school. Old Bai was surprised when he heard Lu Fan's name while the number 1 middle school principal remarked that all the students have gone but Lu Fan hasn't entered the Heavenly Tower yet. He asked if Lu Fan gave up on the exam, and he laughed and added that Qin Shanhai shouldn't joke around because there was nothing they could expect from a Dragon Tamer. The number 1 middle school principal pointed out that they should look at their Hong Wu as he was already on the 4th floor, ranking 1st. Old Bai informed that Lu Fan was not giving up. He waited for the last difficulty level's portal. The principals asked if Lu Fan was choosing the Nightmare Trial, which has a score multiplier of 9.9, and they cautioned that the Nightmare Trial was one way, so Lu Fan was too overconfident. They asked if Lu Fan was crazy and insisted that a Dragon Tamer will die in that, so Old Bai should stop Lu Fan immediately. Old Bai called Lu Fan and warned that no one who has challenged the Nightmare Trial has come back intact. But before Old Bai could finish what he said, Lu Fan entered the portal in the sky. Old Bai recounted that the last person who challenged the Nightmare Trial was 8 years ago, and he was eaten by ferocious beasts. It was a miserable death. The number 1 middle school principal exclaimed that it was absurd, and he asked if Old Bai's number 3 high school folks haven't ever been educated on the rules of the grand exam. He asserted that the Dragon Tamer was doomed for sure and Qin Shanhai's judgment needs improvement because Lu Fan can't be compared to Hong Wu at all. The other principals agreed and concurred that they should just focus on the performance of the talented Kaigong master. But Qin Shanhai countered that it was still too early for the principals to draw conclusions, so he suggested that they observe a bit more before making deductions. Old Bai asked Qin Shanhai why he was trusting Lu Fan so much. He began to think about what Lu Fan could have done. On the other hand, Lu Fan arrived at the 1st floor of the Nightmare Trial. Lu Fan cut through the vines, blocking his way with his claws. He surmised that in the midst of the Nightmare Heavenly Tower, there are at least 10 monsters. The level 10 Blackmane Wolves showed themselves, and they roared. The Blackmane Wolf roared and charged towards Lu Fan. Lu Fan mused that finally it was about to begin. He used his skill, Dragon Fang Strike, and quickly eliminated the Blackmane Wolves. The system notified Lu Fan that he completed the Nightmare Trial at Sky Tower, 1st floor, and he got a score of 990. Meanwhile, the number 1 middle school principal asked to confirm if it was a one-hit kill. He asked what was the deal with Lu Fan, and as he exclaimed that he was ridiculously strong, the other principal observed that Lu Fan's attributes are clearly above the level of his peers. Old Bai asked if it could be that Lu Fan had found the legendary dragon. Lu Fan quickly climbed up to 2nd rank while Hong Wu was still in 1st, and both Qin Kui and Tao Xiaoman were at 3rd rank. Kaiyingxing walked towards the Grand Exam Trial Principal's office. The number 1 middle school principal asked if it was a one-hit kill and what was going on with Lu Fan. Kaiyingxing suddenly barged into the office and excused himself. He introduced himself as the special envoy from Longdu and announced that he was there to disturb the principals to bring someone back to Longdu for investigation. Kaiyingxing was a level 57 swordsman, and he asked where the Dragon Tamer Lu Fan was. On the other hand, Lu Fan cut the vines at the Nightmare Trial. Lu Fan remarked that he found it, and it was right there when the system notified him that the location of the treasure map had been reached. He recalled that the high-level treasure map synthesized before entering the trial's secret realm, actually on the 1st floor of the Sky Tower. Lu Fan reached out to grab the treasure. The system notified him that he obtained the skill book, Growth Acceleration. Lu Fan considered that growth acceleration was perfect for Xiao Yi. He realized that when leaving the Village of Grief, he felt that Xiao Yi leveled up too slowly, which is why that passive skill was a godsend. Back at the principal's office, Kaiyingxing called Old Bai and stated that he is Lu Fan's teacher at their school. Kaiyingxing demanded that Old Bai needs to immediately interrupt the trial and summon Lu Fan back there. Old Bai replied that even if it was a huge matter, it has to wait until after the student's major exam. So as the principal of Sanzhou, he could handle it on Lu Fan's behalf, but Kaiyingxing retorted that Old Bai can't handle Lu Fan's punishment for him. Old Bai was surprised when he heard about the punishment, and his Qin Shanhai stepped in and suggested that Kaienxing should take a step back considering their old friendship. One of the principals asked what Lu Fan did. Kaienxing requested that Qin Shanhai not interfere with his mission and not try to get close to him. He declared that he doesn't know why Qin Shanhai protected the Dragon Tamer, but he will remind him that if he meddles in that matter again, both the Jin family and the higher-ups of Longdu will be displeased. Kaienxing insisted that if Qin Shanhai understood, he should leave the place, and he called Old Bai to bring Lu Fan over. But Qin Shanhai called Kaienxing again. He explained that the relationship between the higher-ups of Longdu and the Jin family is indeed complex, and has an impact on Longguo and Taikiguo, but once Lu Fan's secret is exposed, neither the higher-ups nor the Jin family will matter anymore. Qin Shanhai asserted that on that day, no one could take Lu Fan away. Kaienxing asked Qin Shanhai what the secret nonsense was, and he complained that Qin Shanhai went too far for defying the envoy's orders. But he was surprised when Qin Shanhai suddenly grabbed his wrist. Qin Shanhai was a level 57 knight, and he responded that even if Kaienxing says that he is going too far, he will accept it. Kaienxing warned that he will report Qin Shanhai's actions to the higher-ups of Longdu. Old Bai interjected and requested for Kaienxing to calm down. He urged that they must not affect the major exam, and Kaienxing asked why Lu Fan did it. Qin Shanhai asked Kaienxing if he wasn't curious about the secret of Lu Fan, which could make the higher-ups of Longdu and the Jin family jump. Kaienxing was surprised when he saw that Lu Fan had chosen a nightmare level. Meanwhile, at the nightmare trial, Lu Fan pondered that he wanted to see how far he could go just relying on himself. Lu Fan looked at his attributes screen. He decided that since he has the passive skill, it was better to summon Xiaoyi early to gain experience. Kaienxing asked what was special about Lu Fan that he dared to challenge the nightmare difficulty, and the number 1 middle school principal asked him if he didn't see Lu Fan take out his opponent in one move earlier. Everyone was surprised when they heard Xiaoyi's ferocious roar. Lu Fan commanded that Xiaoyi should come out. Everyone was taken aback when they saw Xiaoyi. On the other hand, Xiaoyi swung her arms to attack. Qin Shanhai admitted that although he had seen Xiaoyi once, seeing her again was still shocking. Xiaoyi crushed everything in front of her in one hit. Qin Shanhai called everyone's attention, and he noted that they have seen Lu Fan's secret. He revealed that Lu Fan was the only Dragon Tamer in history to have a dragon. Old Bai asked to confirm if Lu Fan really tamed a giant dragon. Back at the nightmare trial, Xiaoyi and Lu Fan wreaked havoc on the second floor, and they quickly cleared it. The number 1 middle school principal observed that it was the power of the dragon race, and a class without a third transformation is completely unable to compete, while another principal exclaimed that it was too terrifying, and after leveling up, he asked if Xiaoyi wouldn't be enough to level an entire country. Lu Fan quickly climbed up to the first rank of the grand exam. He and Xiaoyi quickly arrived at the 13th floor and cleared it. Old Bai pointed out that not only Xiaoyi but they should pay attention to Lu Fan's change in strength. He added that Lu Fan's various attributes must all exceed 100, so even without summoning the giant dragon, he could still easily rank first in Zhonghai City. Qin Shanhai asked Kaienxing if he still wanted to bring Lu Fan to the higher-ups after seeing that, and Kaienxing conceded that he had truly opened his eyes that day and he could understand why Qin Shanhai dared to offend the Jin family. Qin Shanhai informed that if that was the case, he would send a video of a segment of Lu Fan's major exam to teacher, so from that point onward, there was no need for the special envoy to bother with Lu Fan and the Jin family, and as he requested for Kaienxing to go back, Kaienxing asked him to confirm what he meant by teacher. Qin Shanhai revealed that it was the town North Marquis Tu Jing. On the other hand, Lu Fan and Xiaoyi arrived at the Nightmare Trial's 20th floor. A level 15 dark sacrifice appeared. Lu Fan figured that with the accelerated growth effect, Xiaoyi should be close to leveling up. He instructed that Xiaoyi should use Lava Blaze, and her skill immediately began charging. Xiaoyi released her skill, Lava Blaze, when it finished charging. The monsters on the floor screamed in pain as they got scorched by Xiaoyi's flames, and the 20th floor was quickly cleared. Xiaoyi's level increased to 11, while Lu Fan's level increased to 16, and Lu Fan suggested Xiaoyi should come with him. Lu Fan declared that they should conquer the Heavenly Tower together. An hour later, at the Trial of Fear on the 50th floor, a huge explosion occurred. Hongwu was out of breath, and as the system notified him that the 50th floor had been conquered, he considered that it was such misfortune. He felt that that year's grand examination was truly perverse. Such monsters should at least be on the 70th floor or so, but regardless, it was tough all around, and the only one vying for first with him was Qin Kui, and she's in a team, so her points are halved. Hongwu believed that the title of top scholar in the Southern Province examination was destined to be his. He He laughed, and as he called his dear principals outside, he asked if they watched his performance and stated that they should contact the heads of the top 10 academies to prepare for his admission. Meanwhile, at the Grand Exam Trial Principal's office, they could hear Hongwoo's laugh, but everyone's attention was on Lu Fan's scream. Old Bai remarked that all previous top scholars of the southern province have stumbled at the hurdle at the 50th floor of the Tower of Ladders, and the number 1 middle school principal noted that the level is a watershed. The number 1 middle school principal commented that even if Lu Fan passes, his pace will not be much faster afterward. On the other hand, Lu Fan just took a step into the Nightmare Trial's 50th floor. The system notified Lu Fan that a new skill, Shape Transformation, was acquired, and he supposed that it was Xiao Yi's new skill acquired after leveling. Lu Fan realized that there were 4 forms of change: the original dragon form, the Dragon Maiden form, and Xiao Yi will also transform into Destruction Dragon and World Ender. He was alarmed when the ground began to shake. The rocks of the mountain began to crumble and fall down. The level 20 Amethyst Mountain Giant suddenly appeared before Lu Fan. Old Bai asked how Lu Fan would fight 3 nightmare bosses, while the number 1 middle school principal observed that he knew that the 50th floor, the watershed, would definitely slow down Lu Fan's climb up the Tower of Ladder. The number 1 middle school principal surmised that Lu Fan's score was already the first in Zhonghai City, and was very likely to make him the top scholar of the southern province, and he wondered why such a promising student wasn't from their middle school. Back at the Nightmare Trial, the Amethyst Mountain Giant's eye glimmered. It used its skill, Mountain's Arm, and Lu Fan reckoned that it was a 50% damage reduction effect indeed. Lu Fan reflected that sure enough, reaching halfway up the Tower of Ladder, the difficulty has increased from before. He called Xiao Yi, and she blocked the Amethyst Mountain Giant's attack. Lu Fan suggested that Xiao Yi should try her World Ender form, and she roared in response. A powerful red aura surged around Xiao Yi, and it pushed the Amethyst Mountain Giant back. When Old Bai saw that, he declared that Lu Fan was preparing. The red aura began to wrap around Xiao Yi's body. Xiao Yi's claws transformed and were protected by flaming armor. Her wings and eyes also changed and became more intimidating. Xiao Yi finished transforming into her World Ender form, and her strength increased while her spirit decreased. She unlocked new skills, Earth Shatter and World Ending. Old Bai was surprised, and he asked if Xiao Yi could also switch combat forms. Qin Shanhai exclaimed that such a transformation sends shivers down the spine. Back at the Nightmare Trial, Lu Fan noticed that one of the Amethyst Mountain Giants was about to attack him from behind. Lu Fan quickly jumped and dodged the Amethyst Mountain Giant's attack. He used his skill, Dragon's Inspiration, and all his attributes increased. Lu Fan called Xiao Yi and instructed that she should use her skill, Mighty Jaw Assault, which she immediately used. The number 1 middle school principal was surprised that a level 20 boss shattered just like that. Old Bai estimated that in order to shatter the defense of the Amethyst Mountain Giant, the power of the strike must have exceeded 2,000 points. Back into the fight, another Amethyst Mountain Giant was about to grab Lu Fan from behind, and he noticed it. Lu Fan maneuvered his body midair to avoid the Amethyst Mountain Giant's grasp. He used his skill, Dragon Claw. A huge explosion occurred, which eliminated the Amethyst Mountain Giant. Meanwhile, at the principal's office, Qin Shanhai asked Kaiyingxing if he didn't feel fortunate at the moment that he stopped him from taking Lu Fan away now that he looked at Lu Fan's strength. Back at the Nightmare Trial, Lu Fan was still up in the air and used his skill, Dragon Claw. Xiao Yi suddenly used her skill, World-Ending Roar. Lu Fan announced that he would deliver the final blow. But to his surprise, Xiao Yi flew past him. Xiao Yi used her skill, Earth Shatter, and eliminated the last Amethyst Mountain Giant. Lu Fan and Xiao Yi's level upgraded, and Lu Fan concluded that they leveled up again, so choosing the Nightmare level was indeed correct. He determined that the difficulty was no obstacle for him. As the system notified him that the 50th floor had been conquered, Lu Fan mused that as long as it was one layer after another, the experience could still be greatly improved. On the other hand, at the Grand Exam Trial Principal's office, Qin Shanhai put out his cigarette onto the ashtray. Qin Shanhai observed that it seemed that the so-called 50th floor watershed possessed no difficulty for Lu Fan, and the number 1 middle school principal remarked that Xiao Yi's strength far exceeded his understanding. Old Bai asked Kaiyingxing if he could discern the terrifying numerical value to which Xiao Yi's strength attribute has grown after changing forms with his extensive experience in Dragon City. Kaiyingxing replied that he has seen some big shots in Dragon City take action, and if they compare the power, the strength attribute of Xiao Yi after changing forms must be at least 25 points. The number 1 middle school principal was surprised when he heard that, and he asked if their levels and attributes were not worth mentioning. Old Bai speculated that, as he had previously anticipated, he was afraid that the attributes would only be more, not less. The number 1 middle school principal suddenly pointed out that since they have passed the 50th floor, the X+1 mode will gradually become apparent, and Qin Shanhai asked about X+1. Old Bai explained that the X+1 mode was established by the scholars who first designed the trial tower. He added that after the examinees pass the 50th floor, every floor with a large number of ordinary monsters will encounter one boss floor. Old Bai noted that it makes the trial more like a real secret realm, with examinees constantly in mortal danger. He concluded that, however, in the nightmare level of the Tower of Ladder, whether it's X or 1, all have been replaced with nightmare level bosses. Old Bai remarked that in the nightmare mode X+1, the bosses faced are not singular, but multiple, each with attributes exponentially increased. Qin Shanhai stated that indeed it sounds formidable, but they should turn their attention to Lu Fan. Lu Fan confidently swung his ink dragon deer antler sword while twisting in the air. Qin Shanhai mentioned that as for Lu Fan, there is no need to ponder over the intricacies of X+1. The system notified them that level 10 had been cleared, Xiao Yi ascended to the 13th rank, and he rose to the 18th rank. Old Bai reflected that it was evident that the ladder tower, from the 50th floor onwards, has been designed with increasing difficulty. However, with the world ender Xiao Yi by Lu Fan's side, there is no need for strategies to pass that grand test. Meanwhile, Lu Fan observed that Xiao Yi should follow his lead, and Xiao Yi roared in agreement. Old Bai noted that in just a matter of minutes, Lu Fan had already reached the 70th floor, and the number 1 middle school principal commented that, to be honest, that year's ladder tower is the most challenging it has ever been. The number 1 middle school principal expressed that he had his doubts about whether anyone could break through the 80s with such a design. But as the system notified them that the 76th floor had been cleared, the number 1 middle school principal acknowledged that currently, it seemed like he was thinking too simply. Back at the tower, a huge sandworm appeared in front of Lu Fan. Lu Fan used his skill, Dragon Blood Armor Transformation. Xiao Yi effortlessly eliminated the sandworm, and the system notified them that she had ascended to the 24th rank while Lu Fan rose to the 19th rank, and the 83rd floor had been cleared. Old Bai declared that in the past, many geniuses pushed themselves to their limits for the rewards of clearing the tower, only to exhaust everything and perish in the grand trial. And Qin Shanhai added that thinking about it, when one reaches the 70s or 80s, just a step away from the ultimate reward of the grand test, no one would willingly exit. Old Bai pointed out that Lu Fan is different, and he might be the only candidate in the last decade or so capable of clearing all 100 floors. The number 1 middle school principal affirmed that they should hold on and continued that although the bosses of each level are not as powerful as those in the original secret realms, they should not forget the difficulty of the 99th floor was high. But another principal indicated that everyone should look because Lu Fan has reached the 99th floor. Lu Fan walked down the dark hallway of the Nightmare Trial 99th floor. He stood below a guarded throne. There were 4 headless knights, who carried different weapons, guarding the throne that had a sword pierced in it. Blue flames lit up the candles. More candles got lit up, and the hallway was illuminated. The blue flames also appeared on the headless knight's armors. The level 55 axe headless knight uttered that it was the regicide. Lu Fan pondered that from the Shattered Kingdom, the Headless Knight, the secret realm is quite renowned, and all secret realms stem from real history. Like the formation of the Morning Village and the Shattered Kingdom came to be hundreds of years ago when the undead legions invaded and the king was slain. The axe Headless Knights suddenly raised their weapon. It used its skill, Beheaded. Lu Fan realized that the Headless Knights have shared health, so the most reliable method to clear is to focus fire on one and control the others. But he recognized that he had no control skills at his disposal. Lu Fan concluded that he could only resolve all 4. The Spear Headless Knight used its skill, Penetration. Lu Fan used his Ink Dragon Deer Antler Sword to block each of the Spear Headless Knight's attacks. He managed to get closer to the Spear Headless Knight from above. Lu Fan quickly lunged at the Spear Headless Knight and cut it in half. He wondered if it was indestructible. The Longsword Headless Knight proclaimed that the sins are heavy and the counterattack trigger condition was met. Lu Fan quickly moved to block the Longsword Headless Knight's counterattack. He muttered that it was the time. Lu Fan summoned Xiao Yi. Xiao Yi let out her powerful fire breath and destroyed the entire palace. Lu Fan remarked that Xiao Yi did well. But to Lu Fan's surprise, the Twin Sword Headless Knight managed to survive. The Twin Sword Headless Knight growled that for his king, Lu Fan should pay with his life, and it used its skill, Thunderbolt. It lunged at Lu Fan, and Lu Fan managed to block its attack. But Lu Fan was surprised yet again when he saw that the Spear and Axe Headless Knights also survived, and they charged at him. He immediately jumped off the ground to avoid their attacks. Lu Fan surmised that he couldn't continue to linger there. He figured that he must quickly head to the 100th floor, and he instructed that Xiao Yi should get ready. Xiao Yi used her skill, Lava Blaze. The Headless Knights was helpless as Xiao Yi used her skill, Lava Blaze. They were immediately scorched in her flames. The system notified Lu Fan that level 99 was cleared, and Xiao Yi leveled up to level 15 and has acquired a new skill, Cataclysm. Lu Fan remarked that it was impressive as Xiao Yi has acquired a new skill again, and as the system notified him that he has leveled up to level 20, He noted that only the final trial now remains. Meanwhile, at the principal's office, the #1 middle school principal mentioned that the door to the last level of the nightmare level great trial has been opened. Qin Shanhai declared that it seems that they are going to witness history that day. Old Bai speculated what the trial on the 100th floor could be. He spoke that he was afraid that they never intended for candidates to pass that level. On the other hand, Lu Fan pulled out the sword stuck on the throne. He voiced what it was. The sword slowly disappeared as Lu Fan and Xiao Yi got transported. Lu Fan muttered that it was the 100th floor. He commented that it was the complete Broken Kingdom's secret realm. The system notified Lu Fan that there were more than 500 Undead Legion, and he stated that it was the entire Undead Legion. Meanwhile, sitting on the throne was the level 16 Emperor. Reading the description of Xiao Yi's new skill, Cataclysm, Lu Fan believed that Xiao Yi had been maintaining the form of the Destruction Dragon, so it was time to witness the Destruction Dragon and the new skill. Lu Fan observed that it was the final level, so they should make a final push to get the trial rewards. He affirmed that Xiao Yi should switch to the Destruction Dragon new form. Xiao Yi spread her wings and released her powerful flames while she roared ferociously. The powerful flames started to wrap around Xiao Yi's wings. The flames spread and wrapped around Xiao Yi's body, completing the transformation. Old Bai couldn't help but inquire if there was a third form, and Qin Shanhai asserted that with those raging flames, Lu Fan still has an ace up his sleeve. Back at the fight, the Sword-Headless Knight claimed that they should protect the king and launch an all-out attack. The Undead Legion attacked, and the system notified Lu Fan that their current numbers are greater than 500. Lu Fan added that Xiao Yi should prepare for the challenge, which was the entire Undead Legion from the Broken Kingdom. As Lu Fan fended off the Undead Legion, Xiao Yi flew up into the sky, and the system notified him that the skill activation was in progress. Lu Fan called Xiao Yi and exclaimed that it was the time and they should unleash a cataclysm. Xiao Yi roared, and her flames intensified. While the Undead Legion was busy attacking Lu Fan, they were unaware of the flames that were about to fall on them. A huge explosion occurred as Xiao Yi dropped an of her flames. The count of the Undead Legion quickly decreased to 173 as Xiao Yi used her skill, Cataclysm. The #1 middle school principal responded if it was a skill that examinees could master, and Qin Shanhai recalled that almost the entire Undead Legion has been wiped out. Meanwhile, the Undead Legion's current count has dropped to 98. The 4 Headless Knights attacked Lu Fan as the Undead Legion's current count dropped to 42. They conveyed that Lu Fan was arrogant and that he should kneel before the king. Lu Fan quickly called Xiao Yi and informed that she should come to him. As the Undead Legion's current count dropped to 37, Xiao Yi lunged towards Lu Fan. As soon as Xiao Yi landed on the ground, she released her powerful flames, and her skill, Cataclysm, detonated the burning area again, eliminating the 4 Headless Knights. Old Bai expressed if the 4 horsemen were annihilated, while Qin Shanhai wondered if they couldn't test Lu Fan's true strength even in the most difficult level of the trial. Watching Lu Fan's score rise, the #1 middle school principal revealed that it was 1,000,000 points, a level that hasn't been broken in 30 years, and it was one step away. And as he wondered if Lu Fan could really get the exam reward, Old Bai concluded that that year's exam is the most difficult, so the rewards are definitely not stingy. At least 3 rare quality items are guaranteed. Back at the tower, Lu Fan professed that all the trash has been cleaned up, so they should reveal the final boss. The final boss, the world-destroying emperor, emerged from the rubble. He stated that Lu Fan was an insignificant, ignorant brute. Lu Fan called Xiao Yi and declared that she should get ready to release. He used his skill, Dragon Claw, while the emperor remarked that he should die. Lu Fan used his skill, Everything Burns. The emperor landed back and skidded into the ground. He was surprised when he saw that his strength was being drained. Lu Fan voiced if he found himself becoming weak while he activated his Lament aura from the Lament Ring. The emperor commented that it was a despicable trick. Lu Fan called Xiao Yi and stated that they should go. He used his skill, Everything Burns, second phase. The emperor groaned in pain as he got pushed back towards his throne. Lu Fan suddenly appeared in front of the emperor, and he was ready to lunge his sword at him. He pierced his sword through the emperor's chest, and the emperor groaned in pain. Lu Fan pierced the emperor so powerfully that his sword pierced through the throne behind the emperor. The system notified Lu Fan that Xiao Yi leveled up to level 17. He leveled up to level 22, and the current number of the undead army was 0. On the other hand, at the principal's office, Old Bai noted that it was the 1,000,000-point threshold that no one has crossed in 30 years, and Qin Shanhai added that it looked like Old Bai's school will soar to new heights. Meanwhile, Lu Fan remarked that the nightmare level exam was cleared, so they should go home, and he inquired if she wanted to eat Han Qi's cooking. To which Xiao Yi roared in agreement. The system congratulated Lu Fan for successfully clearing the Southern Province Nightmare level trial. When Lu Fan saw one of the rewards, the rare quality skill book Wrath of the Ice Dragon King, he considered that he would only have control skills after the second transfer at level 30, but it looked like he could already coordinate with Xiao Yi's output skills in the future. He also saw the rare quality Wind Spirit Ring and mused that it was an agility ring, and it is a pity that Xiao Yi can't benefit from the effect bonus, but it was still useful for him. Lu Fan saw the legendary quality Flame Frost Cloak, and he surmised that it was perfect for Xiao Yi's destruction dragon form, as it has both ice damage reduction and fire damage boost, which is really nice. He reflected that it was time to go back and let Xiao Yi rest for a while. Lu Fan informed that he could go home and wait for the results when Old Bai suddenly called him. Old Bai pointed out that Lu Fan was really amazing because he was the top scorer and he was the pride of the school, so from that point onward, his photo will always be on the school's wall of fame. The number 1 middle school principal chimed in and stated if it was on the Wall of Fame, which is for heroes who died defending against beast invasions. He queried if he was cursing Lu Fan, and Old Bai noted that he should go away because if anyone is cursed, it is him, and Lu Fan broke the exam record, so his future is limitless. Qin Shanhai laughed and observed that no matter what, the exam made Lu Fan famous, and even though he was mentally prepared for that exam, Lu Fan still surprised him greatly. Lu Fan commented that he had met the conditions and inquired if the princess of the Taiki Kingdom wouldn't be causing trouble again. Qin Shanhai laughed and replied, of course, he will keep his promise, and the teacher should have received the request by that point. Lu Fan mentioned about the teacher, and Qin Shanhai assured that he shouldn't worry and what he should be considering at the moment was which academy to choose. Qin Shanhai stated that the wealthy merchants in the southern province will definitely take that opportunity to build connections with Lu Fan, so he should be mindful of their intentions, to which another principal agreed and noted that the academies will be scrambling to recruit Lu Fan. One of the principals remarked that Lu Fan should summon the dragon so they could see it with their own eyes. Another principal wondered if he was crazy and added that it would destroy the school. And another principal congratulated Lu Fan and stated that the score is incredible and no one has broken the record for at least 30 years. On the other hand, at Dragon Kingdom, the northernmost frontier, level 60 uncharted region, heavy snow was falling. Inside the frontier, Tu Jing, the northern frontier marquis, was watching Lu Fan's examination recording. He started chugging a bottle of liquor. Tu Jing smacked the bottle back on the table. He muttered that it was refreshing. Someone knocked on the door and Tu Jing advised that they should come in. The assistant noted that he was there to report, and as he apologized for disturbing Tu Jing inquired if he found evidence. The assistant stated that it was all in the files and they could confirm that Qin Shanhai's deduction was correct. He elaborated that through Qin Shanhai's interactions with Special Envoy Qianxing, the high-ranking official in Dragon City, Lord Ruin Chengfeng, was colluding with the Jin family of Taiki Kingdom, and after the investigation, it was found that Princess Jinju's study abroad and the recruitment of Dragon Tamers were both approved by Ruin Chengfeng. Tu Jing declared that it was really Ruin Chengfeng. The assistant mentioned that the Jin family and Ruin Chengfeng maintained diplomatic relations on the surface, but in private, Ruin Chengfeng granted the Jin family many privileges, and they have given him substantial rewards in return. Tu Jing laughed and observed that it was no wonder Ruin Chengfeng sent a special envoy to arrest Lu Fan. He clenched his fist so hard that the bottle in his hand shattered. Tu Jing asserted that Ruin Chengfeng was a traitor and is helping Princess Jinju to run rampant in Dragon Kingdom. He commanded that the assistant should send an order to Ruin Chengfeng that he is stripping him of all of his duties and powers and he will no longer have a place in the high ranks of Dragon City, which will be executed immediately. Tu Jing proclaimed that if Ruin Chengfeng has any objections, the assistant should tell Ruin Chengfeng to come and talk to him. And as for the Jin family, if they try to contact Ruin Chengfeng again, they should send the Griffin's squad to greet them, to which the assistant responded yes. He noted that there was one more thing. He added that they should keep a close eye on which academy Lu Fan chooses and inform the principal immediately to provide him with the best resources, and the assistant agreed yes. Tu Jing pondered that it is delightful to have such a legendary young man in Dragon Kingdom, and it is very interesting indeed, so once his task is completed, he must find Lu Fan and meet the legendary youth. But he wondered when his task would ever end. On the other hand, back at the city, Princess Jinju spoke what they said, and if Ruin Chengfeng was dismissed by the Northern Frontier Marquis, the person on the phone informed that Princess Jinju should calm down because they have good news as well. But Princess Jinju demanded what good news he could possibly have and how they could capture Lu Fan without Ruin Chengfeng. The person on the other line explained that Princess Jinju need not waste her precious time on Lu Fan because the announcement day for the big exam results is coming soon, and they have discovered that besides Lu Fan from Zhonghai City, there is another Dragon Tamer in Qingju City. Princess Jinju acknowledged that it was indeed good news and that she hopes that at that time, the person will be someone who understands the situation. The system congratulated Hongwu for completing 72 levels of the South Province Sphere exam with a score of 89,250 points. And while out of breath, Hongwu believed that it was close and he almost didn't make it alive. Hongwu considered that with 72 levels, the top spot is definitely his, so the top 10 academies are going to fight over him, and there is a substantial reward, so his future is surely bright. He wondered what was lively and mused that there were many principals there. Hongwu began imagining where his principal remarked that the trial results were just as expected and with a high score. The top spot is definitely his, and he surmised that the principals were definitely there for the top spot, so it was his time to shine. He politely greeted his principal, and the number 1 middle school principal inquired if he had finished the trial. Hongwu responded that the trial was completed, but he only got a score of 89,000, so he was wondering if he could secure the top spot. The principal noted that Hongwu shouldn't worry because he did very well, so he could still choose any of the top 10 academies, and that grades are important, but he should know his limits and his injuries are serious, so he should go get treated. Hongwu wondered what the principal meant that he did okay, but that was it. He reasoned that with such a high score, if the principal wasn't impressed, it must be to keep him from becoming arrogant, a reminder to stay humble, so he mentioned that he understood and thanked the principal for his careful guidance. 7 days later, when the announcement day of the nightmare exam results came out, Lu Fan and Han Qi were surprised. Someone outside their house stated that he has a small token of appreciation, and he sincerely invites Lu Fan to visit his estate. Another one queried if she may ask which academies Lu Fan is currently considering. Another voiced if he plans to visit Dragon City in the future and requested that he take care of him if he does. And the other people tried to see Lu Fan while the others declared that they shouldn't push. Qin Shanai laughed and commented that that day was the announcement day for the big exam results and Lu Fan was the top scorer in the South Province, so everyone knew, and Han Qi observed that it was lively outside so they should go inside and talk. Qin Shanhai revealed that the 6 boxes he got contained the 50 million prize money for the top scorer of the South Province from Jinghai City, and as he requested Lu Fan to accept it, Lu Fan was wondering why his score was not disclosed. Qin Shanhai added that besides the prize money, Old Bai also sent a reward. It was a rare quality skill book, Roar of the Blue Dragon King. There was also a legendary Thunder Potion, and Lu Fan figured that he got a dragon language magic book, and with the Thunder Potion, the skill power could be even stronger. He supposed that after ice magic, there is lightning magic, so he finally doesn't have to rely solely on Zio Yi for magic damage output. Showing the rare quality green wind armor and a legendary quality flashing wing boots, Qin Shanhai explained that Old Bai carefully selected those rewards, especially those flash wing boots, which have a 30-second cooldown for blinking, and Lu Fan assumed that it was for mobility and damage reduction, and no other student who just finished the big exam has gear like that, so with all that equipment, his attributes will be close to those of Zio Yi when she just hatched. Lu Fan uttered that it was a skill that only second-tier mages have, so he won't hold back. Qin Kui chimed in, and as she called Lu Fan and Han Qi, she claimed that the heads of the 10 great academies had already arrived in Zhonghai City. She conveyed that Qin Shanhai invited the heads to their house, and she was there to take them for the interview, and Han Qi affirmed that it was really lively that day because Qin Kui was there too. Lu Fan replied why so early when the results were just announced, and Qin Shanhai indicated that of course they were early because for someone like Lu Fan, after seeing his big exam video, all the 10 great academies rushed over immediately. Qin Shanhai reported that Lu Fan's exam video and score have been kept confidential by the teacher, so only the 10 great academies and the top officials of Dragon City have seen it. And as he insisted that Lu Fan is too special and it wouldn't be good if another princess showed up, he specified that the teacher has already dealt with the matter of Princess Jinju, and he really wanted to meet Lu Fan in person. Lu Fan expressed that it was great and that he also really wanted to thank the teacher in person, but Qin Shanhai emphasized that it was not the right time yet. He clarified that Tu Jing is on a mission, so there is no rush, and Lu Fan will meet him eventually. Qin Kui requested Lu Fan to accept the purple card and recounted that she originally visited last time to thank him, but unfortunately, they ran into Princess Jinju. But Lu Fan responded that they agreed on 100,000 and a purple card is worth 10 million dragon coins. Qin Shanhai opined that Lu Fan saved Qin Kui's team in the Wailing Village, and it was the Qin family's token of gratitude, so he requested that Lu Fan accept it. He proclaimed that someone will take Lu Fan to Zhongshan Garden that night, and as he quizzed Lu Fan on how he will handle the villa the city is giving him as the top scorer in South Province if he can't accept the purple card, Qin Kui retorted that he should stop teasing Lu Fan. Qin Kui reiterated that it was getting late so she and Lu Fan should go meet the academy representatives. On the other hand, in the forest outside of Qingju City, Princess Jinju and Kui Hongtai parked their car. Princess Jinju got off and started walking deeper into the forest. She inquired what level Chen Tianjai was at the moment, and Kui Hongtai answered that Chen Tianjai is level 19 while the armored dragon is already at level 14. Princess Jinju asserted that Dragon Tamers are indeed different. She exclaimed that Chen Tianjai reached the level to face a level 30 boss so quickly. Chen Tianjai was focused on training his armored dragon. A beast was roaring ferociously and charged towards the armored dragon. Chen Tianjai instructed that the armored dragon should use its skill, Sweep. He lunged towards the beast with his lance. Chen Tianjai used his skill, Dragon Lance Strike. The system notified Chen Tianjai that the armored dragon leveled up to level 15 while he leveled up to level 20. Princess Jinju stressed that Chen Tianjai was not bad at all, as he didn't waste the dragon egg she gave him. And as Chen Tianjai professed that he hopes she is not disappointed, she contended that if it turns out to be a failure like the loser Kui Hongtai, she would be disappointed. She imparted that Kui Hongtai's Dragon Lance will belong to Chen Tianjai in the future, and as she probed if he had a problem with that, Kui Hongtai responded that he is a subordinate, and will follow Princess Jinju's arrangements. Chen Tianjai thanked Princess Jinju and remarked that with the armored dragon and the Dragon Lance, plus her magic buffs, he will surely defeat the top scorer of South Province, and Princess Jinju deduced that the second place, Chen Tianjai, has 210,000 points while the first place, Lu Fan, didn't have his score disclosed, but it is estimated to be around 300,000 points. So Chen Tianjai still has a chance. Princess Jinju urged that Chen Tianjai should remember Lu Fan's name forever until he kills him and takes his black dragon. She promised that she will help Chen Tianjai become the strongest dragon tamer in history and he will be her servant, second only to her, so he better not disappoint her regarding Lu Fan. Chen Tianjai pledged that Princess Jinju should be rest assured because it is his honor and he will forever be her knight. Princess Jinju underscored that Chen Tianjai is wise, much wiser than Lu Fan, because she offered him a chance to rise to the top. But he didn't appreciate it. She directed that Kui Hongtai should go to Zhonghai City and find out which academy Lu Fan will attend, and Kui Hongtai acknowledged yes. Princess Jinju warned that if Kui Hongtai can't handle that, he should get lost, and Kui Hongtai disheartenedly conceded yes. She reflected that soon, Lu Fan would forever regret everything he had done to her. Outside the reception hall of the Qin family villa, Qin Kui inquired if he had decided which academy he wanted to apply to. Qin Kui remarked that it was not she who wanted to know. It was her dad, and he noted that it would be best if the two of them applied to the same academy so they could look out for each other in the future. Lu Fan added, of course, that sounded good because he heard that teamwork is important in academic institutions, and they have worked together before, so if they go to the wilderness together, Qin Kui would definitely be his first choice. He stated that he just hasn't decided which academy to apply to yet, so he will tell Qin Kui when he comes out later. And Qin Kui considered that she doesn't know how many points Lu Fan scored exactly, but if she doesn't catch up to him soon, the distance between them will only grow. Qin Kui declared that she will do her best to apply to the same academy as Lu Fan. Lu Fan replied okay, and that sounded good. He entered the room where the academy representatives were waiting for him. Lu Fan greeted everyone, and as he was about to introduce himself, he was cut off. A priest queried if he was right that he was Lu Fan and responded that they have all seen his performance in the entrance exam video, which was impressive, while an assassin affirmed that Lu Fan was the first dragon tamer in history to have a dragon and probed if he had any academic institutions in mind as the top scorer in the southern province. The priest acknowledged that there was no need to hesitate because Zhongnan Academy doesn't play games and they offer an annual scholarship of 10 million dragon coins, and all resources such as potions and access to secret realms are freely available. The assassin clicked her tongue and commented that the people sitting there are the heads of the Dragon Kingdom's top academic institution, and the priest has the nerve to come and grab the top scorer with just those little things. The priest was about to confront the assassin, but the assassin called Lu Fan and observed that apart from what Zhongnan Academy could offer, the Northern Academy was offering 20 million dragon coins per year, plus access to secret realms not available to the public in the Snow Kingdom, all for him. Another representative expressed that the Northern Academy does have the resources, but they were not lagging behind. Another mentioned that they could provide those conditions too. Another conveyed that they could offer opportunities for secret realms. And another uttered that the terms could be negotiated, and if Lu Fan was not satisfied, they could add more, which made Lu Fan think that he didn't expect the interview to be like that, so he had no idea which academy to choose at the moment. Suddenly, Gu Han asserted that that year's national trial quota will be selected by Dragon Capital Academy. Gu Han was the head of the Dragon Capital Academy and explained that the quota could be given to Lu Fan. The priest pressed if it was true because Lu Fan is talented, but he just changed professions, so he would question if Lu Fan could be at the level of the national trial. The assassin confirmed that previous candidates have been strictly selected because other countries are already preparing and Lu Fan just found out. And another representative proclaimed that Gu Han is treating the national trial as a joke for giving such an important quota to a freshman. Meanwhile, Lu Fan's interest was piqued by the national trial. Gu Han indicated that the national trial is a super-secret realm constructed jointly by 23 countries around the world, and every 3 years, each of the 23 countries sends a participant under the age of 25 to represent their country in the secret realm of the national trial. She revealed that for the stability of the realm, the participants must be newcomers, and national-level experts are not allowed to participate, so it is a trial that attracts worldwide attention, and the rewards are extremely rare treasures. The assassin answered that Lu Fan has to commit to the next trial, the one that is starting in half a year, and the priest interrogated if it wasn't a bit too much for Dragon Capital Academy to recruit like that. Gu Han assured that those who pass the national trial will qualify to become national-level experts. So from being the top in the southern province to being top in the Dragon Kingdom, Dragon Capital Academy could offer Lu Fan that. Lu Fan pondered that the national trial not only offered richer rewards but also truly elevated him to the ranks of the strong. Suddenly, the system congratulated Lu Fan because the treasure map had been sent that day, and Lu Fan reflected that it was the second divine treasure map and it had been a long time. Lu Fan mused that the last divine treasure map led him to the Black Dragon Egg, and as he wondered what that one could be, he contemplated that he had to go to the Dragon Capital Academy. The map was marking the area level, the safe zone of the Dragon Capital Academy. Gu Han challenged what he thought about the offer and promised that it was the greatest sincerity the Dragon Capital Academy could offer. She demanded if he was still not satisfied, and Lu Fan agreed that he had decided. Lu Fan declared that he is going to the Dragon Capital Academy, but there is one thing he was wondering if Gu Han could help him apply for. And as Gu Han inquired what it was, she replied that she will try to help him apply as long as it's not too difficult. 4 days later, Han Ki remarked that she never imagined that she would leave that place one day. She noted that she had lived there for so many years, and she was currently reluctant to leave. But Lu Fan pressed what there was to be reluctant about and added that they already had a villa and savings, so they could live wherever they wanted. Han Ki commented that she remembered when Lu Fan first moved in and he was just a kid, so time really flies. Suddenly, Qin Kui called Lu Fan and Han Ki and proclaimed that they were there to pick them up, while Tao Xiaoman explained that they were all going to be students at Dragon Capital Academy, and Qin Kui's family had chartered a plane so they should go register together. Lu Fan queried if Tao Xiaoman also applied to the Dragon Capital Academy. Tao Xiaoman stated that she and Qin Kui got the same score, and seeing that Qin Kui applied to the Dragon Capital Academy for Lu Fan, he just did, but while she was speaking, Qin Kui yelled over her as she was embarrassed. Han Ki expressed that she was really sorry to trouble them all as she never expected what Lu Fan did, while recalling how Lu Fan revealed that it was an application to admit her, who is a rare hidden profession, an enchantment chef, and Gu Han affirmed that it was possible, but whether to admit her will have to be decided after they go back and discuss things. She recounted that the year she became a chef, she dreamed of going to a higher academy like everyone else, and she really wanted to live again back when Lu Fan was still young, and she never believed that he would remember, and Lu Fan assured that it was alright and that she shouldn't cry. Qin Kui called Han Ki and reminded that time waits for no one so they should get in the car, and Han Ki agreed okay. Lu Fan reflected that he remembered Han Ki's hard work for him, her dissatisfaction and loss after becoming a professional chef, and he promised to bring them a better life, so he will do it. He mused that it was just the beginning. A few moments later, at the Dragon Kingdom, Dragon Capital outside the Dragon Capital Academy, Han Ki observed that it was so lively there and that the capital is really different. Qin Kui was amazed and exclaimed that stores were selling rare recipes behind them, while Lu Fan considered that the Dragon Capital Academy was up ahead. Suddenly, Lu Fan heard Kui Hongtai, who called Princess Jinju and informed that they had arrived. Princess Jinju sighed as she stepped out of her car. She murmured that, after all, it was just the capital of the Dragon Kingdom. Kui Hongtai noticed Lu Fan. Lu Fan wondered why Princess Jinju was there and supposed that she just wouldn't go away. Chen Tianjai suddenly posed if Lu Fan is the Dragon Tamer from Zhonghai City, and Kui Hongtai cautioned that Chen Tianjai shouldn't be impulsive, but Chen Tianjai just laughed and insisted that it was better to let him handle things. But Princess Jinju warned that without Ryu and Chengfeng, they would be sent back to their country if they started a fight at the gate, so it was not the right time yet, to which Chen Tianjai responded that she understood and apologized to Princess Jinju. Qin Kui mentioned that she remembered her dad saying that Princess Jinju originally came to the Dragon Kingdom to study, and as she pondered if her dad could be referring to the Dragon Capital Academy, Tao Xiaoman probed what was wrong with those guys. Suddenly, Gu Han notified that it was perfect timing as both their groups arrived together, and they should come in. Gu Han inquired if Chen Tianjai and Lu Fan don't know each other and indicated that they were the first and second in the southern province, both Dragon Tamers, so Dragon Capital Academy calls them the twin stars of the southern province. Lu Fan realized that Chen Tianjai, the second in the southern province, is also a Dragon Tamer. Chen Tianjai asserted that he had heard Lu Fan's name for a long time. Lu Fan glared at Chen Tianjai as Chen Tianjai called his name. Lu Fan called Gu Han and stated that he knew those two already. He inquired if they could rest first because they had a long journey to the Dragon Capital, and as Han Ki remarked that they should go quickly, Gu Han responded that they should let her show them to their accommodations. She noted that if there is anything Lu Fan is not satisfied with, he could change it in advance, and she would explain about the freshman orientation the next day. On the other hand, Princess Jinju declared that they will walk by themselves. A few moments later, Gu Han explained that it was the villa area for first-year students with a total of 30 villas. She added that every year, the teachers review the entrance exam videos to evaluate the freshmen's comprehensive ranking, and the top 30 could live in the villa area. She mentioned that in the comprehensive ranking of first-year students, Lu Fan is ranked first, so number 1 is where Lu Fan will live. Gu Han informed that Chen Tianjai, the second in the southern province, is ranked 18th in the comprehensive ranking, so number 18 is his residence. Lu Fan considered that it seems that Chen Tianjai has accepted Princess Jinju's terms and betrayed his dignity, so it is ridiculous that the two of them are called the twin stars. Suddenly, Qin Kui remarked that with their scores, she and Tao Xiaoman can't make it into the top 30 comprehensive ranking, so she queried if they should go to the student dormitory to check in. And Gu Han acknowledged that she was right, so she will take Qin Kui, Tao Xiaoman, and Han Ki to the dormitory area later, but the conditions are indeed better in the villa area. Han Ki went and grabbed Lu Fan's arm. She probed if they could live with Lu Fan, which flustered both Qin Kui and Tao Xiaoman. Gu Han responded that there is no rule against it as long as the resident has no objections. Han Ki pressed if she was right that he didn't have any objections or if he didn't want to eat her cooking anymore, to which Lu Fan replied that of course not and that he definitely didn't mind. Han Ki proclaimed that Lu Fan doesn't mind, so they will all live together, and it was just right to build some rapport and increase their teamwork, and it will be convenient for future expeditions into the secret realm. Lu Fan suggested for Qin Kui, Tao Xiaoman, and Han Ki to move in with him and observed that the dormitory area is quite far from the villa area, so if he needed to find them, it would take half the campus. Qin Kui assented that fine, while Tao Xiaoman agreed that alright, because she stays wherever Qin Kui stays, and after all, the conditions in the villa are much better. Han Ki celebrated and cheered that Qin Kui could taste her cooking from that point onward too, while Tao Xiaoman warned that living together is fine. But Lu Fan shouldn't get any funny ideas about Qin Kui as she will be watching him. Suddenly, the system notified Lu Fan that the location of the treasure map was nearby, and Lu Fan surmised that the treasure was in a villa right next to him. Lu Fan queried who lives in number 2, and Gu Han explained that she only manages the southern province, so she is not familiar with the freshmen from other areas. Gu Han noted that she believes there is only one girl living in number 2. Lu Fan called Han Ki and informed that she and Gu Han would go to number 1 first while he went to meet their neighbor. Han Ki quickly responded that she understands, so Lu Fan should go ahead and remember to bring a gift for the neighbor, but Lu Fan rejoined that Han Ki shouldn't overthink it because he was just going to see what the second-ranked person is like. Han Ki considered that just hearing that it was a girl made Lu Fan want to go, so he was finally growing up. While Tao Xiaoman clicked her tongue in her mind as she reflected that she really underestimated Lu Fan because he was living with the three of them but was still trying to chat up the neighbor. And Lu Fan wondered why it feels like he has been misunderstood. Lu Fan went and rang the doorbell of villa number 2. He pondered if the neighbor would like Han Ki's cake and reasoned that it would be best if he could get in since they have all just moved in and he needed to get the treasure before the neighbor finds out. As soon as Jian Ying opened the door, Lu Fan greeted her and introduced himself as the number 1 from Zhanghai City in the southern province. Jian Ying just stood there and did not say anything. Lu Fan remarked that the pumpkin cake was a gift for Jian Ying and they were neighbors, so they should be friends and get to know each other. Lu Fan and Jian Ying stood there at the front door for a moment in awkward silence. Jian Ying accepted the pumpkin cake. She stated that she is Jian Ying from Yinbei province, and Lu Fan reflected that she has a cute voice, but it is so hard to talk to her. Lu Fan inquired if he could come in and sit for a little bit because he was a little thirsty and would like a glass of water, but he considered that his excuse was so lame as it was obvious that his intentions weren't pure, so he was wondering what he was saying. But Jian Ying nodded and Lu Fan expressed thanks. Lu Fan quickly ran past Jian Ying. Jian Ying was puzzled when she saw that Lu Fan had already disappeared toward her villa. Meanwhile, Lu Fan realized that he can't stay there long, so he must find the treasure quickly. As Lu Fan entered a room, he assumed that it seemed to be Jian Ying's bedroom. He cursed in his mind as he entered another room and figured that it was the bathroom. Lu Fan opened the door to another room, as the system notified Lu Fan that he had arrived at the treasure map location. He believed that he had found it and that it must be the room Jian Ying hadn't been in. There was a jade dragon egg in the room, and Lu Fan recognized that it was indeed the second dragon egg. Lu Fan quickly ran out of the room, and he came across Jian Ying, who was carrying 2 glasses of water. He explained that he is suddenly not thirsty anymore, so he will head back, and it was nice to meet Jian Ying, so he will see her at the freshman entrance ceremony the next day. Jian Ying noticed what was in the room where Lu Fan came from. She wondered if Lu Fan was a pervert. That night, at Villa Number 1, Lu Fan stayed up. Xiao Yi was staring intently at the jade dragon egg. Lu Fan observed that it was a jade dragon egg, and it was just like when he found Xiao Yi's dragon egg. The jade dragon egg started to crack. Both Lu Fan and Xiao Yi were surprised when a bright light burst out of the jade dragon egg. A level 1 jade Dragon emerged from the egg. Lu Fan noted that it turned out that the jade dragon is not a combat type dragon because with over 600 spirit, it is clearly a support type. Looking at the jade dragon's skills, Lu Fan calculated that for Xiao Yi and him, who shared a bloodline with dragons, all effects would be doubled. Lu Fan estimated that during the big exam, Xiao Yi had a 30% boost from Dragon's encouragement, and when releasing Cataclysm, Xiao Yi's spirit attribute exceeded 7,000, so if he added the jade light from the jade dragon with double the effect, increasing the attributes by another 60% would be close to 12,000. He speculated that the jade dragon could also assimilate equipment effects into its own, so if it upgrades or assimilates a lot of equipment, he can't imagine how strong the jade dragon will become. Lu Fan determined that there is an important thing to think about. As he pondered what name he should give the jade dragon, he saw that the jade dragon and Xiao Yi were fighting, and he urged that they should stop it. Lu Fan suggested that they call the jade dragon Xiao Fei. He laughed and added that Xiao Fei sounds good, and from that point onward, she will be Xiao Yi's little sister. Xiao Yi and Xiao Fei roared at each other, and Lu Fan insisted that they should stop it because they are going to wake everyone up. The next day, at the freshman enrollment ceremony, Lu Fan inquired if the life professions and combat professions didn't attend the enrollment ceremony together. Qin Kui confirmed yes, so Han Qi had to go to a different place for hers, while Tao Xiaoman wondered why it was so noisy in his room last night. Lu Fan prepared to answer Tao Xiaoman, but he was cut off. One of the male students called the others and urged that they should look, and another male student noted that there were 2 other beauties, a priest and a swordswoman, and they are so pretty and definitely campus belle level. Another guy commented that going into a secret realm with such beauties, even dying in there would be worth it, and he wishes he could be their boyfriend. Another guy scoffed that they dreamed, and as he queried if they don't see that there is a guy with the ladies, another guy argued that there are 2 of those beauties and they can't both be Lu Fan's girlfriends. Ignoring those guys, Qin Kui explained that she inquired of Gu Han the other day, and the hidden profession had to sit in the front row, which made Tao Xiaoman wonder if she can't sit with Qin Kui, and she replied that she will go to the back row then. On the other hand, Lu Fan noticed Hong Wu, and he mused that he looked familiar. He realized that he already remembered that Hong Wu was the loud martial artist from the entrance exam. Lu Fan politely smiled at Hong Wu, but Hong Wu was enraged. Hong Wu recalled how his principal challenged if he really believed that he was the top scorer, and advised that he should check the rankings and see the difference between him and Lu Fan. And he believed that Lu Fan made him lose face in front of their esteemed principal, and he finally saw him. Meanwhile, Tao Xiaoman wondered why they put all the hidden professions together and if it meant that Lu Fan would be with Qin Kui every day from that point onward. On the other hand, Lu Fan noticed Jian Ying. Jian Ying did not respond when Lu Fan greeted her, and Qin Kui queried if they knew each other. Lu Fan replied that they sort of knew each other because Jian Ying is their neighbor who lives at number 2 villa, to which Qin Kui noted that she could see that Jian Ying was the one who ranked 2nd overall, and she is beautiful and strong. Meanwhile, one of the male students exclaimed that coming to Dragon Capital Academy is great, and that they should look at Lu Fan, who was surrounded by beauties. Another guy inquired what that was supposed to mean and what it had to do with the other guys if there were a lot of beauties, and another guy asserted that Lu Fan was probably just a simp, so they should be bold and go ask for the beauty's contact info. Suddenly, Zhao Shengeming proclaimed that everyone should be quiet. He introduced himself as the vice principal of Dragon Capital Academy and professor of the Combat Academy's Magic Department. Zhao Shengeming stated that first, on behalf of Dragon Capital Academy, he welcomes all new students. He remarked that he doesn't like formalities or empty words, so next, Their teacher will distribute the students' ID cards, and at the same time, he will inform them of some school rules. Zhao Shengeming explained that the ID card the students will receive at that time will be their all-purpose credential at Dragon Capital Academy. He indicated that the card will store personal points, which is the Academy's universal currency. Zhao Shengeming added that the students will need points to access the secret realms provided by the Academy, to buy weapons, potions, and so on. Lu Fan currently had 13,539 points in his ID card, and Zhao Shengeming observed that the initial points came from their entrance exam scores. One of the students commented that the difficulty of the entrance exams varies between provinces and it is easier to get high scores in provinces with lower difficulty, so he wondered if that wasn't unfair. Zhao Shengeming replied that of course, the Academy has taken that into account, so the entrance exam scores are divided by a difficulty coefficient based on the varying difficulties of each province's trials to determine the points, and the higher the difficulty of the trial, the smaller the difficulty coefficient. He elaborated that as an example, that year's trial in the southern province was the hardest, so their scores will be divided by the smallest coefficient of 96. Lu Fan surmised that it seems that number is all the funds he has at Dragon Capital Academy. However, Zhao Shengeming cautioned that those points are temporary because the freshman assessment in a month will once again determine their points. Zhao Shengeming continued that the top 30 in the freshman assessment will be eligible to enter the blue class, and students in the blue class will receive many special privileges, such as applying for closed secret realms, exchanging specified skills and equipment, and the right to move into the villa area. One of the students mentioned that he hadn't heard of blue clads before enrolling. Another student echoed that he hadn't heard of it either, but it looks like they have a chance to move to the villa area, and Lu Fan reasoned that it meant that he, being the current first place, has the qualification for the blue class, but if he loses that qualification later, he will have to move out of villa number 1. Zhao Shengeming laughed and declared that he understood all the students want to enter the blue class, but he must tell them in advance that entering the blue class doesn't mean they could relax, because any student could challenge the members of the blue class in battle, and blue class members must win to retain their spot. He warned that if a blue class member loses, they must give up their spot to the challenger, and moreover, blue class members cannot refuse challenges. Zhao Shengeming informed that currently there are 30 members in the blue class, the top 30 in the entrance exam. He revealed that the first place is the top scorer from the southern province, Dragon Tamer Lu Fan. One of the students pondered if the first place was Lu Fan and if he wasn't the simp, and suggested that Lu Fan must have a dragon to be the top Dragon Tamer. Another student cautioned that they should keep their voice down and not let Lu Fan hear them, because if he really has a dragon, they are screwed. And another student remarked that even an earth dragon is formidable, so it was no wonder Lu Fan is the top scorer from the southern province. Suddenly, one of the students announced that he just searched and there are no scores or videos of Lu Fan's entrance exam. Another student speculated if Lu Fan could be an unqualified beneficiary, someone his family arranged to get in, and another student observed that indeed, only the second place from the southern province, Chen Tianjai, has searchable results, and they should look at how powerful his dragon is. On the other hand, Chen Tianjai wondered when she wanted to take Lu Fan down and responded that he would follow her order, but Princess Jinju advised that Lu Fan's strength is still unclear, so Chen Tianjai shouldn't rush, and they should probe Lu Fan first. Meanwhile, Qin Kui mused if Zhao Shengeming wasn't encouraging everyone to challenge him because he was pushing him forward like that, and Lu Fan admitted that he didn't expect such a scenario. After the freshman entrance ceremony, Lu Fan felt that it was finally over and it was time to upgrade Xiao Fei and unlock her new form. Lu Fan suggested that they should go to the Secret Realm Hall and see what secret realms the Academy provides. Suddenly, Hong Wu called Lu Fan. He looked at Lu Fan with disdain from behind. Hong Wu proclaimed that he wanted to challenge Lu Fan. Lu Fan verified to confirm if he wanted to challenge him. Hong Wu affirmed that it was right and that Zhao Shengeming just stated that the top 30 blue class members cannot refuse challenges, so if Lu Fan really has the strength of the top scorer, he should dare to compete with him. Hong Wu calculated that they can't see Lu Fan's entrance exam video and scores, and if Lu Fan really has strength, he must have passed the trial by summoning many sub-dragon species, and if he targeted him directly, he is sure he could win. Lu Fan challenged Hong Wu for saying that he was afraid. He agreed that if that was the case, he would accept Hong Wu's challenge, and Hong Wu acknowledged that Lu Fan had guts, so he would bet 200 points. Lu Fan wondered if it was only 200, but he reasoned that it was fine because 200 should be a lot for Hong Wu, and he agreed with Hong Wu and confirmed that they will bet 200 points. One of the students inquired if they were already fighting and observed that it was the number 1 Dragon Tamer, so that should be interesting. Another student probed if a Dragon Tamer isn't similar to a summoning mage, and Princess Jinju noted that it was a perfect opportunity to see what Lu Fan got, so they should keep a close eye on every move he makes. Meanwhile, Hong Wu declared that they will start on the count of 3 and started counting down. On the other hand, Tao Xiaoman asked if Lu Fan won't lose, and Qin Kui laughed and replied that Tao Xiaoman hadn't seen Lu Fan in action. Gu Han and Zhao Shengming watched expectantly as Hong Wu continued to count down. Hong Wu prepared to attack and uttered the count of 1. Meanwhile, Qin Kui assured that Tao Xiaoman will know soon. Hong Wu lunged at Lu Fan and shouted that they should begin.